I'm live with Thomas Zuag. Am I saying that right?
It's Zog. Zog.
Zog.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas
Um,
Zog. He is the artist, I guess we could call you, of the graffiti on the Toronto Cenotaph, and I brought you on basically to get your opinion as to why you did it. Um, and yeah, that's about it. See your views because I watched your video that you put out on Facebook explaining everything, and I got a contact with you moments after it went up because I'm like right into what's happening into our country, and that it's nice to actually hear somebody else that's into it as well.
yeah. I mean, I've been on, I don't know, where's the front line in this, right? But I've been kind of politically involved and paying attention to this kind of stuff since 2011, when I first, me and this kind of crazy guy in Toronto started the People's Political Party of Ontario. Uh,
Okay.
and, that was when I first kind of like started really starting to pay attention and learn more kind of about the bureaucracy that we have here. And it's I think it's just one of those things as you get older in life in Canada, you kind of very quickly start to see it's this like checkpoint Charlie kind of life that we like, especially in Toronto. You know, you have like I know some people will be like, oh, this guy just doesn't want to pay his fare, you know. But like, you think about it, you got people riding down the GO trains and stuff, and then you got just these personnel walking down. You got your thing, you got your thing, you know. It's like it's a common the
Well,
man.
I could see how I can't live down there myself, but I could see how it's like living in a condo or an apartment. It's basically like a jail cell. Everywhere you go, you're patrolled, and pretty soon they're gonna have the social credit system set up there where the cameras and facial recognition, and if you step on the sidewalk the wrong way, then well, you can't afford a cup of coffee later.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like one of the things that I've seen like some people post initially, like before I came forward and like took responsibility for what I did. Um, I, I see a lot of people posting about a need for an increase in security cameras. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like not the intended outcome here. We don't like we have enough security cameras in Toronto. Thank you very much.
And I also noticed the Board of Health in Toronto is also asking for a handgun ban, a national handgun ban.
Yeah, with that's kind of a just a like, what does handguns have to do with health, lady? Chinese lady. That
It's funny you say that because what is her name again? I have her actually pulled up in a Toronto Star article here. I'll share my screen.
oh yeah.
Where are we? Um, I had her name written down too. Kristin Wong.
Oh,
And
Kristin Wong. Yeah,
yeah, she is a communist if I've ever seen one. She does have a problem with ring around the collar. I remember that from the Faith Goldie mayoral campaign. She's asking for a national handgun ban, and it's funny how these politicians try to pass it off as if that's for our safety. You
well,
know,
either she's really stupid or she's really cunning. You know what I mean? Because it's like she's either so naive that she thinks, oh, if we just get rid of the handguns, then the ones that are coming across from the United States that the gangbangers are shooting, um, those ones will magically stop coming across the border illegally, and
I,
everyone else will just have no handguns.
I feel like it's more sinister than that.
Yeah,
I've done videos on how China has infiltrated the government, and that's part of your speech that you gave that I really wanted to get into. About like the lead policy advisor to the Kathleen Wynne government was Adam Shedlinski, and he studied in Beijing, China. He's the co-founder of Lead Now, the propaganda online news source, and it just goes on. And that's funded from Tides Foundation and George Soros, and it's just this spider web of all this shit that's happening, like uh, the Century Initiative, where they want to bring 100 million people by 2100 into Canada, and they want immigration to be responsible for all of its growth. Uh,
that's that's just a naked dispossession of us from our country, isn't it?
Completely. They'll import more people than we have being born.
And
And
but
and
infrastructure, what housing? How are we going to maintain? Is there? They don't have a
it,
plan for that.
no, it's a complete contradiction of this um, climate change bullshit where we got to stop using resources, yet they want to bring people into a cold country that are going to leave a bigger carbon footprint. So it's so sinister what's actually happening. They want to take our guns, they want to take our free speech so we can't talk about it. And one of the quotes from the speech that you gave is amazing. We can't look at ourselves as America's little brother anymore. We're actually the Soviet Union's autistic gay cousin.
Yeah, it's factual.
Oh my god, did I laugh when I heard that? I'm like, fuck, he's right.
I mean, free healthcare, right? You get what you pay for. That's that's a crazy thing about that whole system of infiltration, and it gets me. Yeah, it makes me think about this Soviet disease that existed. It was called sluggish schizophrenia, and it kind of reminds me a lot of this Canadian equivalent schizoaffective disorder, which is basically, where somebody's just like a little bit weird, but they have friends and a social life and they can get along and stuff, but they're just weird. Maybe they say the wrong opinion about the party or something like that, so they've got that's a schizoaffective sort of, like they get it but not really.
I got you. I'm just getting a couple of comments in the section there. If you can turn your mic down a little bit. I guess my mic isn't loud enough and yours is too loud.
Oh, I don't even have a mic. I'll just talk quieter.
I'll
I'll
try and
talk
turn
quieter, guys.
I'll try and turn mine up if that helps at all, or talk closer to my mic. Um, so you said you've been looking into this stuff since 2009, you said, or 2008?
2011 is really when I got involved politically, and was willing to like put myself out uh, as someone that was speaking about my political ideas and stuff like that. But I mean, I feel like everybody pays attention to the news from a fairly young age. At least I did, So
Well, I don't know if people actually pay attention to it as they so much glaze over and listen to the headlines. They don't put any thought or any depth. It's just kind of leading them. They take it for what it is and they don't look any further into it. So I forget who it was that said it, but if you try and read the newspaper to stay informed, you're just misinformed. Like,
yeah, no, that's a valid.
and I can see how this would make a lot of people feel better about taking medication or have to feel like they're on medication because you're living in a fake world with fake information on fake food. So
Yeah,
how the fuck are you supposed to feel?
fake, fake and fucked up, right?
Exactly. Maybe we could get you to explain your reasoning behind the graffiti, because I know a lot of vets were pissed off and a lot of people were screaming, and of course there's this recreational outrage that people have, but it's spray paint, people. It comes off. There's no permanent damage done, and you got your voice heard quite a bit, but the media pretty much chopped up everything you had to say. They didn't let you talk more than one sentence at a time unless it fit their narrative. So
Yeah.
if you want to go ahead and say whatever you want now, please do.
I mean, so I think we were all aware of complaints that veterans had raised with Mr. Trudeau at town hall meetings, and some of the people that I know have expressed to me kind of problems as far as benefits and not getting benefits, and this shift between a big lump sum payout into this disability for life plan that they talk about and sell. But I don't have a full-on grasp of what per se the veterans, like how many dollars they're out, or what that is. They would know much better about that than I would. But what I saw when Don Cherry got fired on Remembrance Day for encouraging people to wear the poppy, and like being in Toronto and living around here a lot of people, like when I talk to them in bars and stuff, like they don't give a fuck about the military. Like, do you know what I mean? Like they don't, like their headspace isn't in the reality of like, what if we had to defend Canada or whatever, you know, like they don't think about any of those eventualities, and they're just painfully asleep. And so you've got, you know, that as the backdrop of what's going on in kind of the action of this kind of moment in history. And that, you know, this moment is where the Chinese's claws are really starting to sink in and clench down very tightly on the apparatuses of the state. And we're right at this moment, and most of the people are asleep, and they have no idea what the hell is going on. And you know, I've been arguing my case. You know, I did a constitutional challenge earlier on this year, because for the last 10 years, I've been subjected to torture in psychiatric facilities for speaking out. And I'm not saying like there aren't times where I, you know, don't go a little bit off my rocker, right? But what I would say is that after the first couple times that they took me in for this torture, that fucked me up, like physically. Like these people, they hold you down in these beds, you know, and they inject you with large amounts of these very powerful and like not feel good fun drugs, you know what I mean? Like these are like feel like death almost kind of drugs. And you know, there's like a little pipsqueak kind of overseeing the whole thing, smugly smiling at you while you're being like held down and tortured by these people. And they laugh when you cry and you like scream about what they're doing to you. They laugh at you.
So you're saying there needs to be more compassion in our mental health facilities?
I like, my view on it is that the mental health, like the whole hypothesis that the psychiatrists and everything are operating out of, the idea that like people act in fucked up and weird ways because some chemical that we don't know about or can't actually describe is somehow out of balance in the brain, that doesn't jive, you know? Like, I think people, when they act out, it's because they've been fucked up psychologically, more so than because there's like some kind of imbalance of chemicals in their brain. And so for this period of the last 10 years, you know, I've been doing my YouTube channel and political activism and, you know, trying to make these types of statements that connect with the public and build a wider understanding of how to actually tackle the problems of today.
That's a super chat that's come up. Somebody donated there.
Well, that's groovy.
Injured vets like myself are a commodity. Well, thank you for your service to government, and I don't mean that sarcastically. I hate that that term gets thrown around the way it does.
Right.
But yeah, put it up there. What you think, government? Sorry?
You know, I just wanted to take maybe this moment to apologize to any vets that I offended with my spray painting of John, just the lines from In Flanders Fields. From where I'm standing as a civilian, it very much does look like the powers that be have broken faith with you. And I also think part of the powers that be is the younger generation. There's not a lot of people, at least in the GTA, that seem like they would Like if shit were to hit the fan, I don't think a lot of these people would be willing to stand up for anything.
Well, they would break off into tribes. It wouldn't be solidarity.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be something uniting the crowd together. People would break off into tribes and it would become tribal. Like if the lights went out, I don't know if everybody would be helping each other so much anymore. It
No, and like a lights out kind of scenario in Toronto is bedlam, just utter bedlam for sure. Because you have like all these different balkanized of like, oh well, this is where this group of people lives, and here's where this group of people lives. Oh man, in a lights out scenario, that's like this is not the place to be.
it's a scary thought, isn't it? Because you look at some of the buildings that have been built. I don't know if you're familiar with Darien, Dixie, the Sikh temple there. It actually looks like a fortress, and they have high walls and balconies that look like people could be walking back and forth on. It's like, yeah, they might be getting ready for something. They've been through this
Yeah.
before. You know, they know what they're doing when they're designing their buildings.
With I don't think so. I feel like maybe I could be an MK Ultra survivor, but you know, like that's maybe as deep down the rabbit hole we could get there. Um, but no, I mean, like the main reason why I did this is that you know I wanted to be able to have a chance to speak out against what the hell is going on in the world today. Um, and you've caught me at this very weird time where I've just kind of come home from my first day back at school after this whole fucking media circus. Oh man, that was a very awkward day at school, guys. Oh my gosh. Uh, I'm yeah. So I'm not like feeling like a full like fiery like let's get them boys. You know, but I'll level with you. You know, like they say I'm a total nut bar. I think I'm just a bit of an eccentric artist guy, and you know they keep pushing me, and I just want to be free, and they don't let me be free, and it's like you know, I argued, like I said, this constitutional challenge, you know, um, because the charter is supposed to give us the right to the freedom of conscience and the freedom of expression. But it's like, if you're taking these people that are crazy and you're detaining them for what they think and say, how is that in keeping with the charter?
Well, what does the charter actually say? I mean, we have the right to freedom of communication. We don't have freedom of speech necessarily.
No, we have freedom of expression, no.
Right. So I guess that's up to the interpreter, right? Like it's not as hard and concrete as a constitution. You know what I mean? The charter is almost here to work against our culture in itself and protect tribalism.
Yeah,
That's
I could see that.
it's
Like me personally, when we're talking about legal systems, I think a republic. I'm all about republics. I think a republic with a civil law system, with an inquisitional, as opposed to this British common law shit. I think that makes more sense.
sure it does, but you got to be careful a lot of times the way people present their republics to the people, like the Republic of China.
No, no, yeah,
You know,
you don't. Yeah, like a republic's constitution, like it arrives, I would imagine, you know, from a bunch of people talking together consistently over like a number of months and maybe even years before they have like something that is accurately expressing what they all really believe in. Um, yeah,
it's hard to write a document like that. That's why lawyers do what they do, legalese. And part of Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals is to take your own rules and use them against you. So even if you were to write things on paper, if you don't have people willing to live by a certain moral code, it's not going to work regardless. Like what's happening to us being flooded with third world migrants, they don't care what's written on papers. They're going to fight for resources. You know, they're
yeah,
going to do what they know.
that makes sense.
So you got to have a certain cohesion within society, and Some people say it's an ethno state. Some people say it's a religious state. You know, people have their different opinions on it, but diversity is not the way to go. That's for sure.
I mean, I don't think a forced diversity. You know what I mean? Like a tokenism diversity thing where it's like, oh, you don't have a black guy sitting at your table of friends, therefore you're all Nazis. You know, like I don't. That doesn't seem like the correct way. So I think the main thing is you want the unity of a mindset. You know what I mean? Because like I know that like out in the prairies and like northern Ontario and stuff, it's like predominantly white.
Yeah.
But the like when people talk about these type of ethno state ideas, my question and my concern, you know, just as a bit of a humanitarian, always falls onto like, well, what about the non-white people that are here? Like, what's like, do they go back? Are we doing like genocides? Like, what's the, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
people always try to relate that as genocide. I don't think anybody wants to go through that. Like, I
Yeah,
think people are more or less talking about maybe colonization or, first of all, with the runaway immigration system, the tap needs to be shut off right now. Like,
yeah, I agree with that 100%.
we just need to stop to figure out who's here, first of all, because it's just gone rampant.
Yeah.
Like, it is not helping our economy like everybody would lead you to believe. At this point, it's causing more homelessness. We're taking resources from our homeless shelters, our food banks. We're being told what we have to put into these food banks. Like, they are dictating what they need when they get here instead of actual refugees or asylum claimants saying, I'll take whatever you got.
Right.
And they're
Right.
also primarily coming from across the border, like from a safe country.
The Roxham Road folks.
Right.
I mean, there's I'm not as lucid on Canada's current immigration policies as I would like to be for this conversation. But you know what I do know is that it's at a point right now where it's not sustainable with the amount of housing that we have that's available. So it's like just causing the real estate to just skyrocket because the demand for it is, you know, just whoosh.
Exactly. And that's where the politicians get to look good by saying, oh, we're going to give affordable housing. And then they just end up taxing everybody. They want to give you free dental, free transportation. You know, they're going to say everybody needs a working living age. Everybody deserves housing. Everybody deserves this. And you just have to give them complete control of the means of production. And it's such a soft way of putting us into communism that it's just happening so gently and people can't see it coming.
It's a slow boil, you know, and they really have been doing this for a long time. I think like I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure I remember my parents having this same kind of conversation when I was a kid, talking about the frog getting boiled slowly in the, you know, and I feel like that's us, you know, as Canada.
I
And,
think you're right.
and that's why, like, I know the Wexic guys are a little bit upset with me right now because of this whole Cenotaph thing. But I do think Western separation is the smart move for the old stock Canadians from everywhere. You know, because if Manitoba to BC goes, then all the real bros from Newfoundland clear through to Ontario will go over. And then what'll be here? You'll have this communist dictatorship.
Well, Newfoundland's not going to go anywhere. I think they'd be happy with being free. They have their fisheries, they have their oil, they would do their own thing. I think they would thrive. I mean,
Yeah,
they were the last province to join anyway.
true.
They'd be happy to fucking leave. And let's be honest, BC is a beachfront. They already have LNG, and I've heard it from two different sources now about Chinese soldiers guarding a pipeline up in the north of Prince Albert. And
I've heard this report as well.
so I don't know why this isn't common knowledge. I wish I was out in BC and I wish I could afford to go there. So if there's anybody that's out that way in BC, I would love to try and fund a trip and hopefully they survive it.
I mean, Sounds like it could be beaucoup danger. You know,
Yeah, there's also a port apparently that's owned by Dubai in that area. Like I don't. This country is so big, anything could be happening. I mean, there's a 150,000 square foot mosque being built in Fort McMurray that's going to take over our energy sector, and we're all just letting this happen. It's just going to happen. They're bringing in 1 million immigrants a year, whether it be through temporary foreign work permits, student visas, or regular immigration, refugees, at all, whatever their excuse to get as many people into Canada as they can. The goal is 100 million people by 2100, and they've got every which way excuse to try and sell it on you. The whole green thing is complete bullshit. It's to try and get everybody to live in as mega cities, to live in boxes, to have complete control with social credit, and you are just a commodity.
That's basically what I live in right now. I don't like it.
Yeah. I believe that. If you're anywhere in Toronto, that's pretty much how you live.
Yeah.
They have complete control of your life. You can might as well, if you look at it that way, with the condos and the transportation and everything takes you, it's kind of like a warehouse, like an Amazon warehouse where they pick everything up and the machines just do it all for you. They just drop you off at your station, you do your work, and it's pretty much life in the big city, isn't it?
I would say so. Hey, what is starting a mutiny within the military and spray painting the cenotaph have in common?
I don't know.
The trick is to avoid the brass.
Yeah, I could not see our military doing that. All of our generals have been
totally cut.
Yeah, paid off. Raging Humanists in the comments section there would be able to tell us more about it. I've talked to a few vets on my channel. They're all upset. And the one-time payment that you were talking about, they changed, instead of having a lifetime pension, they give you like a one-time payment at $300,000, which you can't even buy a fucking house with. You know, you can't work for the rest of your life, and they give you a $300,000 payment. Yeah, good job. And well, they'd be able to. I've done videos on it before as well. The PPC was actually trying to actively do something about it with the veterans. Where do you stand politically with federally, I guess, at this point?
I mean, I guess kind of with the People's Party, because they had a good platform that was at least trying to address the issues. I mean, the big problem in Canada is everybody's like deciding the election before the ballots have been cast. And so we're always in this like fucking like, oh, well, I can't vote for this guy. He's not going to win.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's because you can't vote. You know?
It's so broken. And I have no confidence that was a fair, I don't think that was a fair election whatsoever. I don't. The amount of election cards that went out, sent out to different people.
That. I've heard there was like something like an extra 250,000 cards that went out or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable that the amount of stuff. I'm going to introduce my co-host and good friend, Raging Humanist.
All right.
Veteran, so you can actually apologize to a vet, I guess, if you feel necessary.
How are you doing, sir?
Not bad, man. You?
I'm all right. Were you offended by what I did to the cenotaph?
I'll say something. I have something to say, but first of all, full disclosure, I mentioned this in the chat. I'm really high right now. I don't know if you can tell. So this might get weird. I'm just bring a helmet. That's just bring a helmet. That's all I'm saying. So, first of all, I mean, thanks for apologizing. At least, a lot of people will do something and go, I appreciate that. I understand where, is this too loud? It sounds loud. Like I said,
I think I'm quiet or something. You guys seem loud.
I get the sentiment, because I feel the same way. You know what I mean? I can't stand, like, the government doesn't have they hate us. They hate us entirely. Like, it's obvious. The things they do constantly, it's all lip service. And when it comes to Remembrance Day, it's virtue signaling. It's pandering. It's like marching in the Pride Parade. They're like, oh, they don't actually give a fuck about those people. They just want the votes. Yeah. Because when it ever came down to rubber meets the road, they were nowhere. Actually, they're on the other side of the courtroom fighting us. So, or giving money to terrorists or whatever. So yeah, I totally understand the sentiment. I wouldn't have chosen a cenotaph. Just it's like a sacred, if I was a religious guy, that would be like church to me. I mean, I get the idea, like that would be provocative. That would get people's attention. That's, it's going to be hard to ignore that.
Yeah.
I get it. I just wouldn't be my choice, but I get it. That's fine. Whatever. At least you didn't bulldoze the fucking thing.
Right? Like it's nothing permanent.
Right? Like, I mean, how long before, our future communist overlords decide that the cenotaph is like a monument to the patriarchy and white supremacy?
Yeah. Like when I saw the story, first of all, I was suspicious it might have been a vet that did it, just because of how specific it was. Like, he quoted Flanders Fields. Interesting. So this is a guy he's got some knowledge of military history, perhaps. Fuck, I forgot where I was going. Oh no! So when I first saw it, I assumed like it was that kind of thing, and it's offensive, but at the same time, like I think I know what he's saying. I think I know what he's getting at. It wasn't like fuck the troops or war is stupid or what I mean. This general leftist nonsense, which is like, what do you mean by that? This is a very specific quote. You know what I mean? It made sense. I was like, I see what he's saying. They don't. The country has broken its faith with the covenant with the troops that it's supposed to have, and he's not wrong. And I think I said that, Derek, and I on the stream. I was like, well, he's not wrong, though.
No. That's what I mean. And it's not permanent
I wouldn't have chosen to do it that way, but,
At least he didn't chisel it into the cenotaph.
I knew it had to be somebody on our side. Yeah, I knew it. I figured it was somebody that was on our side anyway, so it was like, it's like when one of your guys does something reckless and could go either way. You're like, damn it, Billy. Fuck. All right, I guess. All right, fuck.
I picked how we're doing it.
At least I picked a paint that would wash off easy. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't go with like a high acrylic varnish kind of shit. It was very.
I did have one question. What was it that made you? What was the moment, or was there an event or something somebody said or something? Like, how long did you plan this? And if it was something that you were just like, I can't fucking take it anymore, or did you plan this in advance? Like, what was the thinking there?
So it was kind of like eating at me. When I was leaving school on Remembrance Day, because one of the guys in my class, he's a 14-year vet. So it just, and he's a big Christian guy, and I'm a believer as well. He has a much stronger faith than I do, but I don't know. There was just something that was like talking to me in my heart, and I went off to do my work that night at the oven hood cleaning place, and I was cleaning out the oven hoods, and I get back home and I do a bit of like one of my rants, and I'm talking about like how we've broken faith with the veterans, and I try to go to sleep, and I'm laying down and I'm tossing and turning, and I'm like, that's not enough. You can do more.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had a similar kind of. I'm going to get to this. I keep. I'm just waiting. Yeah. Ryan the Fed, I don't know. We'll get to that. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but we'll address it because I'm curious. I'm also curious. But I didn't. So I had a plan. I had a couple of guys that were like, "We'll do it. Let's fucking do it." We were going to go to the service in the city. We were going to wear our medals and our berets, and we were going to hold big fucking signs that said treason, and just stand there in the crowd. How is the fucking TV cameras? Or start just yelling it during the service. And it's like, guys, I get it. Because they'd be like, don't interrupt Remembrance Day. I'm like, I know, dude, but if not now, then when?
Yeah.
Right? Like, are we going to never say anything? Like, these guys are dead. We're here for them. This is for them. I'm not, give me money because I'm oppressed. Like, this wasn't about me. You know what I mean? Like, this is about everybody. So,
damn right.
You know what I mean? Like it, yeah. And I remember thinking like, that's a tough one, man. That could go either way. That could, you could get a lot of support or the veteran, or they could be like, you motherfucker, because you stepped over the line and remember, it's a tough call, but
the thing is like, I think a lot of the cyber warfare people are like, putting out a lot of stock puppet accounts to be all like, I'm a veteran. I'm super pissed off at what you did. And I'm not saying that there aren't some that are legitimately pissed off, but I'm just saying there might be some manufactured hate going on here as well.
For whom?
Well, the media gave you no quarter. Okay,
Yeah,
they
no.
didn't. They didn't help you at all. They just said you had mental problems and you spray painted it, and
I think because they're not stupid either. That's the thing. I hate them, but they're not dumb. They are dumb a lot of the time, but they're not like retarded stupid. Like otherwise we would have won long ago. But I think they were like, oh fuck, like because they know too. They know he's right. They know instead of exploring it and interviewing the guy and being like, why did you do that? Why would you? Do you know what I mean? Like the news used to fucking do. They just were like, nope, bad guy, evil, goodbye forever, and just. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's too deliberate. They weren't curious at all.
Well, it's funny.
All.
Like,
You didn't even want to ask the guy. They
didn't show his video. They didn't show his video. They just said he made a video about it.
Yeah, right. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they show it? Isn't that incriminating evidence? Like, why? What's going on?
I loved when the Star called one of my written articles on my Facebook page a long rambling Facebook post because it was like it's better than half the shit that they publish, And
so okay, so now what is it? What is this? What's everybody talking about? Fed Ryan the Fed? What is it? What is this? Yeah, here we go.
Who is Ryan and how much of a Fed is he?
I don't know.
Okay, so
Ryan Gosling, like who the fuck are we talking about here?
Is this towards you, Tom?
Yeah. This one's getting asked towards me. So here's how I came into existence with the whole Ryan scenarios here, because I can't exactly be breaking faith, I don't think, but he did break it with me first, and that's kind of the bigger thing. I feel like it's not betrayal if the other guys betrayed you first. Can we agree to that?
Okay, I'm still not following, but okay.
Yeah.
Like
blood for blood, yeah. I've subscribed to that sometimes, depending on the situation.
So this guy, I had I gotten detained in a psychiatric facility in Quebec because I was working for a Russian bank.
Well, you went to Quebec. You're obviously crazy. Why the fuck would you go there?
well, I went to the embassy in Ottawa for the Russians. Because I was going to try and get asylum there because I was working for a Russian bank, online, helping them do second-tier translation and stuff like that. And so...
Do you speak Russian?
Niet.
Okay. I know that means no. Surprise, comrade. I am fluent in mother tongue.
No, but I speak a little bit of Russian, not very much. Second-tier translation is where you take... a bunch of garbage English that they tried to translate the first time and just, make it sing. So I was detained in there, and then, this Ryan guy started messaging me on Facebook. And that was after I had started kind of talking about Zionist occupied government stuff like that. And the thing is like I'm on the fence about this Zionist occupied government thing. Like, you know what I mean? There's all these different theories floating around out there, and
there's a lot of evidence to suggest there's something to that more than nothing. I'll just say that much.
I'm just gonna wink and
we'll let you finish. We're no stranger.
Oh, beautiful. And so
I forgot. This guy has no idea. No, dude, we know what's going on. Don't worry about it.
Well, okay. Fucking bracket. Okay. So I, he invites me up to his thing over Facebook. He's like, come out to this dinner for nationalists. And I'm like, okay, dinner for nationalists. That's fun. July 1st. Okay. And he organizes this thing at some like burger bar place downtown. And he brings, Paul Frum, the guy that the media would very easily be able to tie is
that the white nationalist dude or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And so I show up at this thing, my first time meeting this guy, and he's encouraging everyone to stand together and take a picture, like a big family, and we're all gonna make this symbol together, right? It's a big family.
We're all gonna wave at the people outside.
It's because I live in the 6. I'm living in the 6 right now. So that was that whole thing, and that's how I met these dudes. Oh, shekels! We're getting the shekels. Oh, you there's so many shekels. 40 shekel. Dean loves a shekel.
Yeah, thank you, Mad Dog Steve. We appreciate that $10 donation. Thank you very much.
So
yeah, please carry on with your
this
story.
guy, and it seems like he's running like a pretty well polished, like operating from a handbook. You know what I mean? Like he's operating from a controller's handbook almost.
Like he's done it before.
Almost, yeah. And so he eventually ends up moving into my house here, and like he's here for maybe 6-7 months, and we end up opening a business together, and like the whole time, right, he's like trying to Mr. Big me. And if you're not familiar with Mr. Big, it's a tactic that they use when they try and be like, yeah, let's go blow up a synagogue. Yeah, this is a great idea. Not. So like,
this is this Ryan guy still?
Yeah. I'm not saying he said that specifically, but those type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like he would try and encourage towards things that I would consider being Mr. Big.
I'm not going to say I don't believe it, because there's like a proven, like this happens a lot in the United States with the FBI. This is what they do. They'll create a fake terrorist cell, for example, because it increases their funding and shit. Like, look, we busted fucking Ahmed. He was going to blow up a bridge and kill all these people. When those were the guys that gave him the money, the bombs, and the idea in the first place. They like convinced this guy to do it. And then they would go stop him and arrest him and be like, look, we're heroes. And they would get money. Or they'd let him do it and be like, well, geez, if only we had more money. You know what I mean? Something like that. So, I mean, I've seen at least 2 or 3 different documentaries about that. There was a bunch of guys in New York, like a bunch of them, like 7 or 8 of them went to prison. And they were like, we didn't do anything. These guys were like telling us they were going to give us Stinger missiles and we could shoot the fucking planes at JFK. And they're like, okay, I don't really want to though. And they were like trying to hook and they went and they got arrested anyway because they wouldn't go for it. And they're like, well, they were talking to this known terror cell, which was the FBI. So it's like, they're greasy as fuck, man. I mean, it's not the first time I've heard a story like this, I guess is what I'm saying. So
it's just a little bit, to me, what I think is a little bit strange is like, I mean, I guess we'll have to get into like how he moved out and stuff like that, because I was arguing this constitutional case. Me and him had opened this business that he was going to try and use to shelter money from like art deals or whatever, which of course never materialized. And then he was always trying to collect money from other people.
Is this from or Ryan you're talking about?
This is Ryan.
Okay.
This is Ryan.
How old is this guy?
He's like maybe 26.
Really? I already thought, okay.
He's I don't know. I don't know how old he really is.
Well, how old he appears, I suppose.
Wait, you live with this guy for 7 months. You don't know how old he is?
Well, he's like, he didn't live with me, like he had his room and I had my room, it was a little bit of a different thing, but, fuck, what was I gonna try and get to? Cause like, obviously there's I'm trying to condense this in a logical way. So there's like, the case that I was arguing, right? And like the case is all about like, me being a guy that's a little bit odd and nuts, but trying to say I should have the freedom to be a little bit nuts. And so in the lead up to this case, he like starts fucking with me and like saying maybe I need to go to like the hospital. And I'm like, what? What are you fucking, are you high right now? Like I need to go to the hospital because I'm in my room reading my book out loud because I'm trying to make sure I wrote the legal shit properly. Like, what? So I got hella suspicious. He like dipped out for a little bit, and I went out and did a thing, and I recruited a dude from the street, like just a homeless dude, and I did a thing. I did a thing where we took a buzzsaw and we opened up his door, and we just like fucking started going through his shit, and we found some shit.
What'd you find?
I bet you did.
Some notebook. we found some notebooks with like the military time, keeping track of like the movements of all the people in our what you would term cell. Keeping track of like all of the comings and goings. He had different what looked to be like does the word kill boxes make any sense to you? Like where you have like knives with like plastic and stuff inside plastic containers that are very easily deployed to like clean up a scene.
So you went to the police immediately, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened? Because first of all, buzzsawing a guy's door. Well, I mean that's a thing, but they might be interested in kill boxes, and I think my roommate isn't a fucking assassin or a serial killer or something, and I'm fucking scared, and I don't want to live there anymore. That's just me. I don't know.
Oh, so what I did was I took the evidence of value, all because I could beat the shit out of this kid anytime. Did you
take a kill box?
Yeah, and I took all that stuff and I put it in my room. And then I got the big homeless, I think he was like Guatemalan or something, dude, to just like sleep in his room to like occupy it, and keep it locked down. And then it became this like weird thing where I guess his surveillance team knew that we had them compromised, knew that we had their shit, and they were like wanting probably to get the computer back or something. So it's at that point that like me and the Guatemalan guy are outside having a cigarette, and 3 squad cars roll up. And I was, what?
And that's the end of it?
Well, no. I forgot this very important part. Because before the cop car showed up, me and the dude are smoking on the porch, right? And I'm watching these people walk by on the street. And I'm pretty sure they're like, from CSIS or police intelligence or something, right? And I just go, hey, nice night for surveillance, ain't it? And the one guy starts laughing a little too loud, and then so maybe 10 minutes later, the cop cars pull up and, they detain me instantly. And I had like a hunting knife on my belt just because like, big Guatemalan guy that's homeless. You want to have the hunting knife on your belt just in case it gets a little crazy. And so, I'm just standing there on the porch. The cops come and they're like, "Oh my God, you got a knife?" And I'm like, "Well, it's right on my thing. I'm not fucking with you about it, guys. Don't be mean to me." And then they put me in handcuffs and everything. And as I'm in handcuffs,
how did you escape?
Well,
I'm on the edge of my seat, to be honest with you.
They're like trying to, they're trying to like provoke me to like acting out, right? They're like trying to get me to like spurg out on them, and I just like I think back to like being like a little fucking cadet, and I'm just like, all right, and I just like hold the fucking, and I just and like these cops are like shouting at the back of my head, and I just stare at the thing, and I'm like, okay, and eventually they just like start fucking off. And it's at that point I look over my left shoulder, and guess who's standing at the bottom of my fucking porch steps but Mr. fucking
Tony Stark
himself. The dude that was walking by on Nice Night for Surveillance was right at the fucking front porch of my house. And then these fuckers go into my house. They fucking steal all of the shit that I had stolen from him out of my room, and all of my shit out of my room too. And then they take me off to Cam H and I get fucked.
That's a great story. Whether it's true or not, I've never met you before.
I'm so high right now.
Fucking story. Like, I was on the edge of my seat, to be honest with you. So, and then from Cam H, what happens from there? Do you end up going to court?
No. So Ryan just like grabs, I guess, what he can and like disappears, right? Like the next day. And I'm able to like convince, because I had a job at the time, my boss to like call into the Cam H people to like let me get out to get to work the next day. So, I come back to the apartment, and like, Ryan's moved all the rest of his shit out, obviously, because what you know, and I get kind of back into my room here, and I lost my goddamn train of thought, guys. That's what just happened there.
Well, I want to thank the government for another donation. He wants to acknowledge the Hong Kong protesters. Impressive how smart they are. Yeah, they're fantastic. The bows and arrows. The fucking.
Did you see the fucking bricks? Yeah,
the bricks glued
I never
to
even
the
would have
road.
thought of that, man. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
like it won't stop. It'll slow them right down though.
They're taking it to the next level because
bow and arrow shots and shit. Like these kids are nuts.
The smoke bombs. They're putting them in canisters, screwing them up, throwing them away.
Like the balls, the fucking huge balls on these kids.
Yeah. And they are holding it. Like their defensive position on a university because that's the only communication they have.
With fucking homemade fire bombs and bows and arrows against the Chinese military. Dude, are you the most hardcore fucking people ever or what? Yeah. That's it. You don't even have weapons, dude. You're fucking staring down the People's Liberation Army like with, I got my fucking knife, bro. Come get it. And they refuse to leave. Like they will. And this isn't like the U.S. or like France. Like, no, they're not just going to kill everybody. Tiananmen Square.
They will.
Yeah, they will.
They're going to wipe them out. Well, and they'll send their family. They'll make their family pay for the bill afterwards too.
But
yeah, like this.
You know what it might mean if the Chinese military hasn't opened up on this. It might mean that there's a little bit of a mutiny spreading within the ranks of their forces as well. Because, like, think about it. How many of those guys that are the boots on the ground really want to live in that system? I don't think too many of them, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know. It depends on how well paid they are. There are some people that like you can talk about the media here. They're paid so well, they'll just shut the fuck up and say whatever they're told to say.
And they're brainwashed as fuck. Look at the Soviet Union. That went on for how long? Those guys were... You know what I mean? They put up with insanity for like 100 years and they liked it. You know, a lot of them, like enough of them that they didn't do anything. They either wouldn't or couldn't. And in the end, does it matter? The result's the same. If you want to and you can't, or just don't want to at all, like the same thing happens. Nothing. So Jesus, you know, it's a strong
begging too.
It's a powerful, it's a powerful ideology. It's no joke. It's not, it's not like I got a cult together like with Jim Jones or something like, ooh, big fucking deal. You got 40 people to follow you to the death. Stalin's like 20 million, 40 million. No one knows. The number is so high we can't count that high in Russian. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and who knows what they've told them as well? Who knows what they've told those soldiers to make them to be able to do this? Whether they're just following orders or they're told that they have hostages.
Like I sit around
who knows what they have to tell them.
I imagine living in that kind of place, and it scares the shit out of me because I can see it coming true here a little bit more every day. And I sit there and I think about living in, like, what would it have been like to be somebody like me in 1978 Soviet Union? Like I hate the government, you know what I mean? But it's like, I can't even fucking say these things or I'm dead. And my kids, you're like talking to your wife under the bed sheets, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. We gotta look strong for the kids.
Like we're almost getting like that. We're almost getting like that with this political correctness shit, like that's like the political correctness is the party line, and that's how they want it to be because, just like George Carlin said, it's like this thing where it's like the fucking blinders that they put on your mind and like how you talk. And if you can't say what you really want to say, then you're not going to be able to think what you really want to think.
Because that's what that's how it works. If they control the words, they got everything. And that was the whole thing. Like manipulating words is such a powerful weapon that people just they don't even realize what's happening, I guess.
Islam is just a front. Like China doesn't care if Islam is here. They're just a disruption. They're probably helping fund different Islamist groups in Canada because China will just send them into rehabilitation camps or wipe them out. They don't care.
Yeah.
If they can just disrupt this entire system in Canada with whatever they can dump into this country, China can just walk over it afterwards.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past them to use the Muslims as a battering ram. It's been
Islam. Yeah.
It's been posited as a possibility for sure.
Right now it's a free-for-all for Canada's resources. We couldn't defend it if anybody came after us, and they're doing it subversively. Like, there's no reason why they need a mosque, biggest in North America, bigger than the one in Dearborn, Michigan, up in Fort McMurray.
No.
They're obviously expecting an influx.
Yeah. So then it's like,
fuck, isn't that scary, man?
Isn't it?
Like when you really think about like what's actually happening, and you're like,
and
look
it makes
at the
you
size
think
of
back.
that fucking building, and they're like, but there's hardly anybody here.
It looks like
that,
an airport.
it's like that moment in Star Wars. You know what I mean? In the Return of the Jedi, like, why would they be jamming us if they didn't know that we're coming?
If you look at the building too, if you look at the building, it looks like an airport. It looks like fucking
why?
planes can land there.
Like, where is this? Are we in Abu Dhabi? Why is it so big? Where are all the? Oh no! It's fucking terrifying.
That obviously leads into why they had the fires. Like, scare everybody out. They've been doing it in countries for years. It's immersive. Like, every so often I see on CTV, there's a woman with a hijab telling them how we have to give up our guns.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I've never wanted one so badly until they told us, oh, we're going to take them. It's not safe. It's not safe for you. And I'm looking around like, I got like 5 kilometers all the way around me that nobody can hear me. And you think I'm not safe?
Sometimes I wonder if we should start to engage in the conversation of like, do we want the Americans to bail us out? You know,
you're never safe from the state. In the middle of nowhere, build your own fortress in Waco, Texas. They'll get you anywhere.
If there was ever a time to do it,
it's the biggest bad guy there ever was, man.
To talk to any statesman, if you want to say, it would be Trump. The only person that you would be able to have an ear would be Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's already well versed. I mean, the only time you ever hear of a big terrorist bust in Canada is when the Security of National Defense in America is forcing the hand of the RCMP to do something.
Well, yeah, and I think the thing is like I wouldn't put it past. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, you just caught me censoring myself. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, there's no need here. Like, unless you feel your life is at stake.
No. I'm just wondering, like, if from the American perspective, right? How compromised is like Canadian brass to Chinese interests, and where does that leave them with respect to NORAD?
It's got to be an obvious safety concern. I mean, Trudeau is, whether you like it or not, there's links with Nexium, Bronfman's, him. There's trails of him being pictured with so many pedos, it's unreal. And the one thing Trump is going after, like him or not, he is going after human trafficking and pedos, right? So there's going to be more that comes out about this stuff. And I don't know. Do you go after another world leader? Do you shame him on Twitter, or what do you do?
I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, it would be great if you could get some kind of really good evidence.
Well, I think it's obviously on his radar. He forced the CEO of Hawaii to be arrested and held, right? And that's only because of what Trump wants, or the treaty that we have. I'm not sure which treaty exactly.
The extradition treaty.
Trump also does whatever the Israelis tell him to do, and Pompeo just reversed their decision that the land Israel stole, it's not illegal, actually. It's fucking fine now. So it's like, he'll do something that makes you go, maybe Trump is our guy. And then, and then he'll put a yarmulke on. You're like, I don't understand what's happening.
We're your greatest ally. We're your greatest ally. We're here to be your greatest.
Oh fuck! This stream's gonna get pulled up for sure. Jesus Christ, that was probably too far. I imagine.
That was pretty funny.
It's a little hat, big deal. Just big deal. I got a normal size hat or a big. It depends. I mean, everybody's got a preference. It's a hat.
I don't know. I play for keepers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but
okay, look at the Chinese and how involved we're still getting with their military and sending people over there to do training exercise. We're China's bitch.
Yeah,
that's got to be on his radar. Whether he's involved with the Israelis or not, you got to look to the Chinese threat to the north.
Yeah, and I kind of I hear what you're saying there too, because it's like Israel's Israel, and that's like a fucking problem. But of these two problems, which one has to get addressed right now? I feel like China is the one we got to deal with right now.
Yep, I feel like it's the biggest threat as well. Well, and it's within our own ranks. The amount of immigration that's coming into our country is just to destroy it. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have anything. The housing prices will go out of control. That people are going to beg for affordable housing. They're going to be begging for food. They're going to be begging for industry. They're going to promise to tax the rich. The rich are going to leave. We're going to be stuck in poverty.
Yeah.
And we'll be begging to whoever can bring jobs, even if it's Chinese ones.
But what if they're on the same team?
What?
What if that? There isn't a Israel or China. What if it's both?
Well, whatever.
You mean Israel?
That's the thing, man. Like, it's really hard to know what the fuck is going on because the news says one thing and it doesn't make any sense, and then you got half of other people saying something that does. Like, nothing makes any fucking. It's really hard for everybody to every argument there is to make. It's like, yeah, but what about this or what about that? And it's like, fuck. It's hard to know because unless you're in one of these rooms. Unless you're inside the fucking Kremlin or the bottom of the CIA building, like you don't really know what's going on. You're just somebody outside the room going, "What do you think they're saying in there?" And then every room away, the further you get, the less you know. We're not even in the fucking area code. Like, there's no way we know anything. We're just like watching the. It's like going through a destroyed city after the fact, going, "What do you think happened here? Do you think it was a dragon? I think it was a bomb that fucking went off." Like, we don't know. It's just like something clearly is fucking wrong here. And there's pieces and shit, but it's just, I just don't like being those guys like, this is what's happening, because it's I'm not that arrogant, man. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, I'm pretty sure the president doesn't even know what's happening half the time.
No.
So, fuck.
But I mean, you can talk about the things that you see happening for sure. Like in one thing I noticed that was pretty interesting is a lot of stand-up comedians, Canadian stand-up comedians, have traveled to China to perform stand-up comedy.
Weird.
And then they're also sending Chinese comics to tour around Canada doing stand-up comedy.
What?
And the thing is, the comics that go on these trips are really bland and terrible. And the people that laugh at that kind of shit are like the brainwashed communists. So
I'm just trying to picture a bus of Chinese comedians coming through Toronto.
Well, you see them all the time.
Toronto, how it going on here? Like, what in the fuck is happening? I'd be in the audience.
You see those tour buses all the time going up and down the 400s.
Seriously, if you're in the fucking audience, like, is this a joke? The guy's like right out of Shanghai. He's not even like American Chinese where he's got no accent. He's from China. Hurrah! Oh, Mr. Shaga, so good to be back here. The fuck are you? What? What is this?
There's
weird. You would probably never see them. They're probably all Chinese audience as well.
What happened to Bill Burr and those other guys? Oh, they went to China. What? What is happening? Are they just siphoning out all of our shit? What is this?
They're taking everything, including the NBA.
Even the comedian, you motherfuckers, the NBA. Yeah. Oh no,
they've got their head.
They're on the NHL too, man. All those Huawei boards all over the fucking rink. Oh, I didn't like that. When I first saw that, I was like, "That's it. What company is that? That's not Canadian Tire. That's not even Scotiabank. Who the fuck is Huawei? What is that? It's Chinese. Fucking Chinese. Why is there a fucking Chinese massive corporation on fucking that guy's desk, man? Why is Nick Kiprios talking about a giant Chinese fucking flag right now? What? And no one said anything. It just happened one day, and everyone was like, I guess hockey has a giant Chinese phone company now. Like, you remember when it was like fucking Cleve's Sporting Goods, Canadian Tire, like Tim Hortons, and it's like, oh, and Huawei. Like, what? I'd never even heard of the fucking thing in my life. Life, and they get a fucking front row shot on the biggest fucking show in the country. Makes you wonder where CBC gets their fucking money sometimes. You know what I mean?
I've heard there's people talking about the states having to investigate. Hawaii has sensors in the ocean on the coast of BC and shit like that. Like, they are in deep, and not to mention Havlar, that the Canadian or the Ontario government went into partnership with the Chinese government, research and development on producing a bison. It was an electric truck that was going to be the utility truck of the future, and China just stole it, took all the research and development home. They're going to produce it there. And it'll probably come out soon enough after they've mass produced it. You know, they'll come here and sell it to us in our communist state.
You know what I can't figure out is why doesn't Canada have its own military industrial complex where we're like
the U.S. stole it. It went to America. The fucking Arrow company. We had like a dope, one of the top aerospace companies in the world, and they just went, and half of them went to NASA. They just came and just shook that shit right out. They're like a bully.
Downview up here.
Let's be honest. What were we gonna say? It's like, hey, we can either pay you for it or we'll just fucking take it.
They're the mafia. They're like the mafia. That's just how, like, things that happen in like neighborhood scale. It's the same. It's just a bigger version of the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not different or they're just people doing the same shit at a different scale. And this was on one of the Rogan shows. I thought it was fucking hilarious. And they were like, he's like, you know who the United States is? If the United States was a person, the United States would be John Gotti. You're like, you're fucking scared of him. And if he offers you something, you're like, I don't fucking think I should, but you're scared to say no. And you think he's probably going to murder you as soon as it's convenient. He's just a grease ball and he's fucking, nobody dares fucking go anywhere near. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's a very good, that is who the United States is. Yeah.
Fair assessment.
Ooh, they're like Tony Soprano or something, you know?
You know, my whole thing is like, we see the Chinese moving in, right? We see the designs that they have on our country. How do we stop this, guys? Because I don't think that we have, with a 96,000 guy force, you know, I don't think that.
I doubt it's that big.
It's not even, we're below 96 now? God damn it.
Our actual combat troops is like 5,000. I'm not kidding. It's laughably small. It's laughable. Like the amount of troops we can deploy in an actual, like, okay, we're here to fight and maintain that for any length of time, assuming we don't lose like more than 5 to 10% of the entire force at any time because we can't replace them, is about 500 combat troops and maybe 2,000 support. So about 2,500 to 3,000 troops at a time ever.
And
or the military collapses under the fucking stress because you get all the training and the troops back home and the whole fucking there's like, that's all we can do. And like we had, when I was overseas, we had a bunch of guys killed and we ran out of reinforcements and it wasn't even that many. I was like, hey guys.
And they may or may not be using the rucksacks.
We don't have anybody left. One of the replacements was a 51-year-old sergeant who was on a suicide mission anyway. It's like, that's it. And it was like, yeah, after this. And this last guy was this great big fat reserve dude. He couldn't even get in the hatch. So he refused to do like air sentry. I can't fit. I'm too big. You're too fucking fat, dude. It was horrible. He couldn't do anything. And they had to walk one time like 5K. It wasn't even far. And he was like, I can't. And he gets down. He's like, my ankle. And the fucking one of the warrants who'd been there this is like 3 weeks from the end of the whole tour. You know what I mean? And we're all just like, fuck. You know, we're all psychotic at this point. And the warrant's over there. And he's like, get the fuck up. And he's like, I can't, Sergeant. My ankle's like, where the fuck do you think you are right now? He's like, this is like nighttime, and we're like in not nice neighborhood. Like there could be people, like legitimately, like what are you doing right now? Like we're walking to a safe place, but we're not there yet. So what the fuck are you doing, man? And he's like, I can't, and he's like whining. He's like, shut the fuck up. He's like, my ankle, I can't. And he's like, somebody has to carry. He pulls out his pistol. He points right in his fucking head. He's like, if you don't get the fuck up, I will kill you, and I will fucking leave you here in this ditch, and I'll say the enemy did it, and everyone will fucking believe me. Everyone fucking hates you. And he was like, he just fucking got up, and they just walked him back in, and they sent him the fuck out of there the next day. But it's like, that's what we were down to. It wasn't like, oh, we've got thousands of warriors. The ranks of our strong are endless. You will never conquer this. No, we've got like 500 men. No. So if you've brought more than that, you'd probably beat us, all right?
So what you're saying is we need Uncle Sam at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're willing. We could call it Uncle Ivan at this point. It's whoever's going to give it to us the least.
We couldn't defend Newfoundland.
The problem is with Uncle Ivan. Uncle Ivan has a relationship with Aunt Lil, who's moving in. Right, Aunt Lil is the one we have the problem with, Lily Yang, you know, Ivan and Lil, they have their thing back home over there. But then if they have their thing over here, it's gonna make a lot of problems.
I think to any sane person, Uncle Sam would be the most logical choice. All of our values line up closest to what they believe, and most of us have grown up on American television anyway. That's
Yeah.
why we think we have free speech.
Yeah.
That's why we think we have all these rights that we don't fucking have here in Canada.
Yeah.
The other thing too is that Canada's too fucking big. You couldn't just land conquer. That's why they're doing it this way. They're not going to invade with armies because it would never. The land is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Like keeping Europe under control during World War II was like almost fucking impossible.
Yeah.
And that's not even close to that. Like our cities are fucking so far apart. There's so much wilderness. There's so much land. You know, it would take an army, and there's like 37 million people here, like all over the fuck. Imagine the logistics you'd have to. It's impossible. You know, even in today, if from Russia or China, or wherever, all the way across the ocean, right? Assuming the U.S. Navy's not annihilated everything, because it's so much. The U.S. Navy's like the Death Star, and everything else after that is like, oh, there's a small ship. It's fucking insane. Their naval power is insanity. People don't understand.
They have like what 10?
We could beat America. I'm like, have you seen? Like, well, the first time I went to a U.S. Navy base, I almost fucked my head. It fucking exploded because I'm used to seeing like Canadian frigates. And so, oh, that's a ship. That's cool. Once I saw a fucking Australian destroyer, and I was like, whoa, fucking look at that. And then I was in Norfolk, Virginia. Went down there. Let's go downtown drinking at Norfolk, and we're coming over the highway, and like the sun's just going down, and it was like the fucking Imperial fleet appeared over the horizon. It was insane. Whoa, huge, giant floating cities of death. These huge aircraft carriers, 3 of them, just hanging out. Fucking massive bat. I was like, that could destroy the country by itself. And how many of these do they have? Oh, there's dozens of these. Oh, holy shit, dude. It's insane. And they're like, China's like, we just built our second aircraft carrier. The Americans are like, I don't remember how many I have. I throw them around like poker chips. We have that many. It's insane. It's all.
I think America's got 10 super carriers and 20 jumbo carriers.
Why wouldn't you, too?
It's
like,
so crazy.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
You know, the government's bringing up a really good point here about the UN soldiers too, because 2/3.
That's possible.
I think it's 2/3 of the UN's fighting force, or if we're going to call fighting force, like
that's a scary thought.
is from China.
Yeah. So I guess I'm thinking like conventional war, like, but it's not going to work that way. It's going to like almost you got to trick the people into surrendering before there's a fight.
Well,
like mentally they accepted it, like, oh, this is
Pierre Trudeau Senior.
This is the way it has to be. This is how we are safe. This is how we keep our jobs. You know what I mean? And then they just fucking surrender. It's like, and then we didn't have to fire a gun. That's amazing. China number 1. You know what I mean?
Canada, no fight left in them. We just take.
Right? It's fucking spooky, man. And it's like, oh, that's a conspiracy thing. Is it though?
Is it?
What is it though?
They say there's 300,000 Canadians stuck in Hong Kong.
Yeah, what's that about, man? Well, they're stealing people, dude. Christian Freeland was talking about like the 4 detained Canadians, and I was like, 4?
4.
I read like at least 7 or 8 articles about people here, there, teachers, doctors, fucking students.
In China.
4? Yeah. I was like, there's got to be like 20, and they always just said the 4. I'm like, no. I read those stories. What happened? Did the Canada just go, okay, you can keep those ones? We'll just, can we give these 4 back though? And they're just going to pretend these other people didn't fucking exist? Like, what is happening, man? It's fucking spooky. I'm living in that movie. What was it? Natalie Portman movie? Basically, it was a 1984 V for Vendetta. Was that what it was? Where you're watching the news and you're just like, I don't think this is true. Like, I'm pretty sure it's not. I thought I read the opposite, like yesterday. And it's like, no, tonight on 2 + 2 is 5 with Peter Mansbridge. I'm like, what? What? It's fucked.
Yep. Regardless whether people like it or not, China is taking it, and I think it's whoever can do it first. Because let's face it, like they're building 150,000 square foot mosque. What are you gonna do about it?
I mean, you know,
you can't even get enough people to get.
That's more like a military base.
Who are you gonna cry to? Doug? No. Kenny? Trudeau? Maybe Trump? Maybe. He's got his own problems down there with Ilhan Omar.
Yeah. But he's kind of doing some weird stuff to challenge Israel, which is kind of funny. You know, it's like this.
That's the thing that doesn't make sense with me. Sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. It's like I don't. He doesn't make sense. Like nothing he does is consistent, and they're like, he's just crazy. I'm like, he's not by himself.
I think it's the nature of the job, right? Because like he's got people like talking at him all the time about like what's the way to go, right? And
but
so
I don't believe for a second that he's the last guy up the chain and he's the final fucking say. Like he doesn't have other people that he's accountable to. I don't fucking believe that for a second. So it's like, it's not Trump that's making these decisions, really. I have a hard time believing he's the only guy. And everyone's like, what do we do, Donald? And he's like, let me think about it. I'm going to smoke a cigar. I'm going to think about it. And he just sits. No, man. Like those, I don't think so at all. I think he has people he needs to call. Probably other people show up and they're like, okay, Donald, here's what we'd like to see happen. And he's like, okay, you know, like.
And the media is just, and even the Canadian media is just hammering him every single day. They can't give him a break. Like, oh, look, he made a fool of himself here. He's looking
but is that on
here.
purpose?
It's
so bizarre. It's so
intense, dude. Like I look at my MSN page when I get to work every morning, and I open it up. It's Trump's a bad.
Oh, I know.
Trump's doing this. Trump's doing that. I'm like, holy fuck.
But like the next level, I mean, there's the obvious, right? Oh, well, they don't want the populism thing to. Okay, that's the obvious move, but it's always been known, at least since I've known what the fuck is going on, at least 10 years. It's like the media is owned by the bad guys. Everybody knows that. Like owned. Not like some of them are good or some of them are bad. They're all fucking, if they're on TV, they're lying. Like 100%. Yeah. And all this time, like, but Trump does things that are good for these people. But the media attacks him relentlessly. It's like, why are they? It doesn't make sense to me. So I don't. That's what I mean. It's not obvious what's going on anymore. Like, do they hate him? Is he a mistake? Is it an act? Do they want people to get riled up and they want them to love this guy? So then when they fucking whack him or whatever the fuck happens, people lose their shit. Who knows, man? Like, it's just the thing is like we kind of think day to day, and every once in a while I remember like people that do this shit don't think day to day. They're thinking 5 years ahead of time, and they've been planning this since I've been before I was alive. And I'm just like around, like picking up rocks again. Like, oh, is this fucking? Oh, is that what killed JFK? That's a dog turd, son. Put that down. No, that's nothing.
That's pretty much what it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fucked.
Like, you get little crumbs here and there, and you're just supposed to come up with what they're actually doing. Well, it's right in front of you. They've got all these bells and whistles going off. We're actually slaves.
Financially,
interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how many? I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, my neighbor, we didn't have too many kids to play with on my street. I grew up way out in the country, and the ones that were there moved away. And I asked their dad at the time, like, what are you moving away? He's like, well, Canada's a socialist country now.
He was right.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I didn't know what he was talking about way back then. I was like, you're taking my friends away. I didn't figure it out until the past couple of years.
Where did they move to?
Probably
Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Fuckers. I wish I could have done that.
Be free.
I'm just gonna push this till it gets crazy, and then I'm gonna claim political asylum in the United States.
Oh man, I tried to do that.
That's my ulterior motive. Everyone's always like, he's doing it for money, or he's doing it for there's always those people, and it's like, I want political asylum.
Is that what we're doing? We're just putting our hands on the fucking.
I'm just doing whatever I think.
We're just trying to get it going a little faster until it fucking. All right, jump off.
Yeah.
No, I went. This August, I went down to try and get political asylum in the States, and the border guards wouldn't even they took me in and they tried to do the processing thing, right? And they tried to be like, "Son, are you all right?" And I was like, "No, guys, I understand."
This turned into a gay porn really fast. Yes, sir. Please don't touch me.
But he's all like, if we decide that we're going to detain you and you're going to apply for asylum, we'll put you in jail for a month to wait. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'm totally fine to wait in jail for a month for asylum in the U.S. But as it turns out, the border guards didn't follow their legal protocol correctly, because I think I would say I have a pretty unique case from other Canadians as far as the amount of shit I've been up against from the government, torture me and shit, because it's every time that they would torture me is when I was doing my public speaking shit, and I have this weird speaking style because I'm a little bit weird, but it's
So, wait, did they put you in jail for a month or not?
No, they didn't. No, No, I'm
They
still
just
here.
turned you around. They just turned you around and said, "Fucking walk back home." Like fucking.
Why is everybody asking about a chimney sweep?
Yeah, what is a chimney sweep? I don't get
know. They're saying you're the best chimney sweep in Canada. I don't fucking know.
I don't even. You know,
I'm just getting trolled into saying things. I don't know what the fuck any of it means.
Like when I'm thinking
I have
about
no idea.
I don't know what that means.
When I'm thinking about it, a chimney sweep.
The bacon water is in the microwave, but only on Tuesday. If ye not what? I don't know what the fuck's going on. These are all coded messages to me.
I guess so. I don't know. I
can't keep up with it.
Do one of you chimney sweep people want to let us in on the joke? Because we don't know. I don't know why I'm the best chimney sweep. What are you even talking about, guys?
What?
Anyway, so they just turned you around at the border and they didn't take your claim seriously.
Yeah. Which was kind of like, geez, we take in like how many of you people? You're not going to take in a me people? Come on.
These comments are hilarious. Well, some of the things you guys say don't make any sense. Daniel Grant, I have 2 cats and a cell phone. Okay, man. Cool. Some of it's just hilarious. I don't know what that means. Orange Man bad. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right on. Why
Orange
not?
Man bad.
It's just random shit. It's awesome. I love
Orange Man is bad.
Oh, I saw a couple other good ones.
Oh, yeah.
There's a question for you.
I don't take any medication.
You're scot-free?
Yeah. I've been like that for 10 years. And like everyone's always like, oh, he just got to take his medication. And it's like, you don't know me. You just know like a stigma and assume stigma need medication. Well, stigma fine. Okay?
Grubby.
Jail. How to obey a Dutch sniper. Ask Cotter.
Yeah. Great perks.
Well,
huge
Cotter
perks.
got $10.5 million.
Yeah.
Canadian cheddar.
Spicy. What a bill. Poor guy. So happy for you, Omar.
Whoa. InfoWars is apparently claiming that.
Is
that even
true?
I heard that it was Trump's food taster that felt bad, so.
Okay.
That's the story that I heard.
All right.
A good news story while we're at it is Don Cherry is having a new show. It's with his son Tim and his grandson Dell, and it's called The Grapevine. So I guess his kids are gonna try and pick up where he's leaving off.
Sick.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
People on Twitter are like, if he had a fucking live stream though, and I was like, oh, that would be the best fucking thing if there was like a 1 hour Don Cherry live stream. Like, do you know what I mean? How amazing that would be? You'd be like, you just say whatever you want for an hour. It'd be the most watched fucking thing in Canada. The first episode. The first episode would be like 15 million viewers. Look at that.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing anyway. He's doing an hour show, and then he's doing a 15-minute commentary for each game or something that'll be uploaded live. Like, fucking brilliant, right?
Great.
That would be huge.
Yes.
That would be hugely successful.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
I love this guy. He's yes.
There's no doubt, right, in my
so
mind
happy.
that he should be doing that.
Yes, that's awesome. I can't wait. Imagine what he's gonna say. Oh,
and
man.
with the Leafs, apparently the Leafs are doing shit lately anyway. So more people are gonna be watching Don than the fucking.
Yeah. Well, they don't care. Like everybody that's a hockey fan, like pretty much everybody likes Don Cherry, and just the novelty of it. You know what I mean? It would be great, and you'd be like, in between, it'd be like, well, the game's there, but
not just
Don.
Allen.
You know, I think he'd take them down, man. It'd be insane. Jess
Allen doesn't like him.
What a strong, beautiful, powerful, wonderful lady. What a stunning and brave example of the new age feminism we've all come to love and embrace, like a dirty poison that eats your bones from the inside out.
Can you imagine what kind of insufferable bitch this person would be to live with?
Fuck. Oh my God. I know, dude. Like, I saw what she wrote and I was like, ugh. And then I saw the picture of her and I was like, that's exactly what I thought she'd look like. That's exactly what I imagined when I read.
I saw her apology afterwards, and she was reading it from a teleprompter, and it was so disingenuous. She's so disconnected. She lives in a different world. Like,
she's
can you imagine what she makes? I bet you she makes over $100,000 a year, easy.
Oh, she was shitty.
That show. This is the first time I heard about this stupid show was when she made these remarks. And then I saw like a clip of it, and it was like, oh, so it's like a Canadian View, but more retarded.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
They just sit around and they look at each other in their stupid fucking outfits that some goddamn fucking company that has a deal with the show paid them to wear, and they just fucking put on too much makeup. They're half in the bag already at 8:30 in the morning, and they sit around and go... It's insane. You know,
patting
me and my
each
wife
other
watched
on
an
each
episode of that
other's
once.
back.
We watched it once, just like, I was like, what is this? And she's like, I don't know. And she kept watching it. I'm like, why are you watching this? And she's like, you know how you like sometimes you like to watch Dr. Phil? This is back before we got rid of cable, like years ago. Before I was like I think this is stupid. I think this is hurting my brain. But we would watch Dr. Phil, and it wasn't like, oh, I love that show. And it's like, it's just
a train
seeing
wreck.
human train disasters of that proportion is just fucking fascinating. So what happened after you killed your dad and your brother and your sister and you set your mommy on fire? What did you do after that? I went outside. It's fucking crazy. You're just like, holy shit, is this fucking real?
Well,
like,
it was a tamer, more intense Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer started out like shit, like with weird shit, like I fucked your uncle's cousin's mother's midget friend.
Yeah, it was for like the smarter version of the
and
same people. You know what I mean? Jerry Springer's like the trailer.
It was a new age horror movie, like a new age Jerry Springer.
Man.
And then he made fucking people famous that should not be famous.
Yeah, it started out like kind of tame. It was like normal, you know, I fucking hear voices, and he's like, oh, and now it's like extreme psycho. Like, is this even real? Like, is this fucking real? So when you cut off your dog's face and use it as a mask to scare your brother, you know, like, what the fuck? What in the fuck are you talking about? It was crazy, but she would be like, that's what it was like for me to watch this show. Because she'd sit there in horror, like, because my wife is not like that at all. At all. And she's like, oh. I come home, she'd be like, you wouldn't fucking believe this shit. She'd like rewind it, be like, look at this. And I'd be like, holy fuck. They're just the most ignorant. Like, this was like where SJWs came from, I think. And they're just hateful, mean, like, nasty.
And that's the problem. They're like patting each other on the back, all reinforcing what they're saying. They're getting a salary doing it. And then, well, it's the hockey moms that she actually attacked, so she lost quite a bit of her audience. Like, you don't mess with hockey moms.
Yeah, that's half your problem.
Like, this is the problem with these like socialist people that have money, is that they're stupid and they don't understand how they can hurt where all their money is coming from with their stupid bullshit. Yeah. And it's like they're fucking bacterial growths, like fucking clogging up the intestines of society. It's just not good. Not good.
Oh, they're spreading bad propaganda. Like, you got Rosie Barton, that's supposed to be the #1 journalist at the CBC, spouting off that do deficits even matter? I don't think so. Like, she is supposed. She's supposed to be the national voice.
That's so hilarious for so many fucking reasons, and it's like I'm not that guy at all, and I'm not like, my wife is not stupid with money at all. At all. She's fucking better than I am, and I'm not bad. But that's the old stereotype, like the fucking woman with the credit card. Like, I could just like get another one.
Yeah.
I could just, it's not even real. It's like a piece of plastic. And it's like the thing. And then whatever. It's whatever. Like, is that who's seriously fucking in charge? Like, think about it for a second.
That's
like, that was a caricature, right? But then go back and watch what she said, compare it to what I just said, and go, is that bitch from high school? That fucking moron is in charge of the money. That bitch. That retard, she's in charge of the money. All of it. All the money. Yours, mine, everybody. The Russians' money, everybody's money. She's in charge of it. We need to get really drunk first, and then we need to fix this.
It's Bill Morneau that's in charge of it.
Oh, well, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that she's even in the fucking conversation. Is insane.
She's supposed to be considered credible as top journalist of the CBC.
Yeah, why are you in charge of anything? Oh, my God.
This Mark Pope, this is a valid question. The West has 4 years to leave, boys, or they will be dropping immigrants into Alberta, Saskatchewan to change the balance, and it's over. And they're doing that in Texas. It's already been done in California. California used to be a Republican stronghold, and now it's just completely blue through and through. And that's happening everywhere. And now that it's been exposed,
they always get the cities first.
It's good that you can have these conversations before you're. Well, technically, we're not allowed to criticize migration if we're under UN law.
Yeah, which we will be in December. Yay!
It just happened in Don Cherry.
I don't recognize it. The UN, I don't recognize it. It's
Don Cherry just got a taste of it because in the Global Compact on Migration that Justin Trudeau signed back December 18th of last year, states that there's going to be media training, and anybody that speaks out against immigration cannot run for office, and it's all kind of specific rules. I actually have it somewhere here. I'm not sure which one. Oh, that's the great replacement, that one.
Well, that's just great. So, I had this great idea that my boys just wouldn't run along with when we were trying to be friends with each other. And maybe I'll share it here, and maybe the brothers out there will see the common sense behind it. You know those shitty little airsoft rifles that you can spend like $300 or $400 on? It'd be great if like a bunch of guys just went and got those and started training and preparing on a weekly basis.
They're doing that already at the mosques.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? So it's like, hey, let's catch up, boys.
I've read different stories about stockpiles of guns, and they've exposed stockpiles of guns with people like Faisal Hussein, who did the Danforth shooting. Things are being withheld from us. I've seen viral videos on Facebook of these ladies talking about how there's African men hanging around shopping malls trying to do human trafficking. And you can tell that the three are working together. If they're from that area, they're like, where are these people coming from? This is small town Saskatchewan, and there's African men here wandering around. What? How did this happen?
Okay.
In the sake of diversity.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, the liberal-minded, they see people in the prairies or whatever in a place that's predominantly white going and noticing. Oh, it's not okay to notice. It is not okay to notice.
That's
right?
how you've been trained. You've been trained to think that it's not okay to mention anything. You've been conditioned. And if Owen Benjamin is to talk about it, you've already been conditioned through the pornos you watch.
Listen, you must stop this chatter. This talking, the words you are saying, they are dangerous. To your health, yes? You'll stop it now, and you'll not do it again. Or Boris and I, we come back, and we break all of your bones. And you'll die slow in your bathroom.
Well, if you had to make a choice between red stars, would you go with Russia or Chinese? I'd go with Russia.
I'd go with the Russians because they're, they like to drink. They're, basically.
I think we could find.
They're basically they're basically Canada with the alphabet upside down, and everything else went upside down. They're basically us. You know what I mean? They're very similar. I don't know if you've met. I've met a lot of Russians. They're very fucking. You know what I mean? I get along really well with those guys.
They're good.
China.
No.
Only met a few, not a fan. You know what I mean? If I had to pick one, and I don't like them trying to hack my shit all the time. I don't like them buying up CBC. You know what I mean? The Russians are just like, it was not me. It does not say Sergei's barbecue on your TV screen, does it?
Do you think it's the Chinese Broadcasting Corporation?
No. So I'll take the Russian team, and they got the vodka.
Yeah.
He needs to find a strong.
They know the struggle of being cold all the time.
If we were going to try and radio in for help, who would probably have more special forces prepared and ready? Probably Russia. I don't know. It's an inkling that I have that maybe the Russians have a lot of tricks up their sleeves.
Well, I really hope it's the Americans. Let's hope.
Yeah.
You can only hope for Americans. Just like government's talking about here, PPC needs to find a stronghold along the U.S. border. Fair point. Yeah. You want to be able to get the fuck out of here.
You might want that. You might want that affiliation somewhere. Just maybe Michigan, Detroit. I don't know. Find somebody. Anybody.
Might want to
create that fucking rat chain because you might need it. Could you imagine, dude? That'd be insane if that's what the party ended up being. It ended up being like the reverse Underground Railroad, and it's smuggling Canadians out of the fucking country into the States.
Well, yeah,
to escape what's coming because it's like everybody's like, I've seen this before. This is Venezuela. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Here we
need friends
go.
with private that use private airports at that point to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, this happens, and then 3 months after that happens, and then 6 months after that, they eat the cats and the dogs, and then all the rest of the
all
death.
right. So what's the timeline now? I mean, jobs have already left.
I don't know.
Money's already left. We're in debt, so we're still allowing people to keep piling into this country. We don't have the infrastructure. We have to borrow more money to take care of that. At what point does this collapse? When does inflation just take off? When do we start eating the animals?
It's like coming up. It's coming up, and it becomes this. It becomes this thing of like, you know, this is like a problem that's going to come apart, and we're gonna need something to throw in there really quick to stop everything from caving in on itself.
I think we might have 10 years. That's my guess.
That's a very optimistic outlook.
I think we might have 10 years. At
The
best.
only way you'd be able to get anybody to listen is if you get
5 or 6. Like, I don't even like to think about it because it's fucking terrifying.
How do you
Most people are like, oh, that would be shitty. I'm like, no, dude, like, it could happen.
How do you get-
We want to be 2 or 3 years.
Well,
only plays to try and get Trump's ear, but I think he's waiting for it to fall. He can already see it. He sees what's happening.
He's going to get reelected. Like, I don't think we're at that
Trudeau wants to be on that UN seat so badly, the security seat. He'll do whatever they say. The same as Maduro.
But they're not going to give it to him ever. That's the other thing.
I don't think he's ever going anywhere.
No.
I think he'll be prime minister. He could be there for 16 fucking years, man.
Yeah.
How's he going to lose? He didn't lose this election after everything that happened. That wasn't enough for people to be like, wow, that guy's got to go. That didn't shake anybody at all. He dropped a couple points.
No riots.
And he nothing. Everyone's like, oh, well, like Alberta's pissed.
Just take it.
But like assuming Brexit doesn't blow up the country before then and we have another federal election in 4 years, it's going to be the same, but there's going to be another 3-4 million people in the country that he brought in here and said, hey, by the way, vote Liberal. You know what I mean? And they all vote in the same strongholds, right? That's just how they do. They vote ethnically. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's what happens. So they just keep polluting these districts, and it just keeps going.
More condos and saturating the area.
You know what I mean?
Like that. People, and you had people that moved out of the city a while ago have no idea what the population is there now.
Like that's just what happened, though. It shouldn't it's not wrong. Like I'm not saying this with like we need to murder everyone. We need their blood and the fire. I'm just saying like, gee, look what happened, and you're not allowed to say that. Like, whoa, remember? Did Toronto always look like this? Did Toronto always look like India? When did that happen?
It used to be called Toronto the Good because nothing ever happened. You can walk around like nothing happened.
Now it's the 6 and shit's going crazy. You know, it's like
six shootings a night.
Yeah.
And they blame the guns. It's like, dude, there was guns all over this bitch forever. Canadians have had guns like at the same pace as that's what most Canadians don't know either. There's like almost as many guns per capita here as there is in the States. There's fucking shitloads. And the guys that have them have a lot. Like there's a lot. And it's like, we never had these problems. What changed was you imported a bunch of fucking people from parts of the world where like, this is just what you fucking do, you know, and expected them to just behave like, oh, they'll be fine.
Where'd you get housing?
Where'd you find these guys, fellas? Oh, we pulled them out of the fucking war-torn district, lawless land of fucking kill or be killed Somalia, and we dropped them in downtown Ottawa near the fucking university.
What did you think?
Like,
just a few thousand of them. I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's
like, am I wrong? Is that a wrong? Am I crazy to find that?
I don't think you're wrong and crazy. I don't think you're wrong.
Sorry.
The idea that you could find 1,000 Somalians that are just wonderful law-abiding citizens that did not succumb to the culture wars that have been going on there itself, and just be able to process them the way you have? No, not the way Ahmed Hussein wants to be able to bring them in and do this injection into the northern cities where he wants to drop 15,000 into a city of like 600,000 people, 400,000 people. 15,000 Somalis in an area, not sitting around on welfare, just getting free housing, not working. You're going to get houses that explode for no fucking reason.
I understand immigration. That's not what this is. Immigration is like we have a need in society for whatever fucking reason. The population is we don't have enough trades or people or fucking labor or whatever. Like there's okay, but it's like we don't have a need. Do we have a need? Why do we even need for 25,000 Somalians in Ottawa that aren't? What do they do? Are they like? Do they build fucking amazing feats of architect? Like what do they do? Oh, they might get jobs as cabbies. A lot of them won't do anything. Some of them might form a gang and kill your kids though. So be careful of that. Yeah. You know, like what the fuck is the point of that? And you know, Peterson said this when they were talking about the war and everything like that, and they were trying to understand like why would the Germans do this, or why would the Russians do like they would do crazy shit, and they'd be like why, and they would say that the only way, like there's no it makes no sense. So you have to look at the reason. Like what did it do? What was the result?
You have to look at the result.
What happened as a result of what they did? That's what they wanted. That's the only explanation.
Yeah.
Why else would they do it if that isn't exactly what they wanted to happen? So it's like, why else are you doing this unless you want what is obviously going to happen? So again, am I fucking crazy to look at the government and go, I don't think you're on my fucking team here.
No, they're
crazy. I
they're
don't
not.
think.
I gotta find those videos I was watching of these places in sub-Saharan Africa where it's just these giant signs of like Britain, Australia, Canada, just come, and they force you through the process. They pretend you have a job waiting for you there. You send you there. They teach you how to do the paperwork to get welfare and everything like that. That's why how that African guy just showed up at the border and he threatened to kill a child if they didn't give him his check or whatever. I forget what office this was in. Do you remember that? Like, and when I said about the houses exploding before, do you remember what happened out in Halifax? I think it was, where a family of 9 was in a house last winter and it just blew up.
Yep.
And like a bunch of their kids died.
Or some shit, right?
There was never an explanation.
Never
there was no
explanation.
cause. They just never came up with one. Because you could go on the HRM website, and I don't know if I think I showed you this before or somebody, and you can go on the website, and it shows you like every fire that they responded to, like every call. There's like a brief when it was, the date, the time, and like a brief summary of what happened.
Yeah.
It was like structure fire, whatever, addressed this such and such a time, nobody was injured, whatever. And then there was one was like, oh, this person was injured and had to be taken to a hospital and blah blah blah. And you're going up down, you're like, oh, I wonder what's gonna say about the Syrian fucking one. You come up to the date and there's nothing. You go out, it's just not there. Like, okay, why is that the only fucking one that's just not on the website? And like, well, they're going to investigate, and it's like, within a couple days, they were like, "Oh, it was something caught fire,
aerosol can."
It's been 2 days. How would you know? Like, arson investigations aren't over in 2 fucking days.
No.
And then this report comes out, like whenever, not long ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know, not long ago, and it was like, I don't know. I was like, what? How do we even? You don't know? That was it. Like there was never an explanation. So it was like, fuck. It's hard again. You got to understand, like, people are not crazy to go, what are you hiding? Were they building bombs? What the fuck? You know, what do you mean there's no explanation? That doesn't make me a racist, crazy person. That makes me a guy that goes, what the fuck are you doing exactly? Because what you're doing doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you tell us what was going on? Unless something fucked up was going on and you don't want to tell me, in which case I really should fucking know what's going on.
That's why,
right?
Like, that's why I tried to start the whole fucking Canadian civilian defense forces. You know, these are great ideas I have. Maybe they didn't take off, but, you know, it's like, it's a fucking idea because I don't trust the government to do its fucking job.
No, and we're not allowed to have a free and independent militia.
With that too.
But
days after, it wasn't long. I don't know if it was days, but it wasn't long. It was like within a week, a couple of weeks tops. They fucking bulldozed the house. Just
gone. No, anyways, I wanted to acknowledge Scott McLean there. The look at Apex in Australia, Eastern gangs, African gangs. Yeah, I have heard about that.
Happening all over the world at the same time. You know what I mean?
And the government thinks you're two-spirited.
Probably. Definitely. Yeah, we were in the same platoon.
Oh, that's your buddy, eh?
We march shoulder to shoulder towards death. You know what I mean?
It's about
you never forget those guys.
So I just noticed that in the chat. People go and search Nigerian Twitter baby in Canada.
Oh man!
I don't want to know.
Well, that's happening quite a bit.
What is that?
That's a real nice
Hong
comment
Kong.
from Diane Higo there. I appreciate that.
I don't know. What is that?
She's saying that her dad served in Holland, and she thinks that he would have been totally proud of what I did. So,
I meant the baby. What was? I don't want to know. Nigerian baby in Canada. I don't know. What is? Do I want to know what the fuck is that, guys?
I imagine
This
it's
vague
people.
tweet. Like, what is it?
No, that was the one I was probably talking about.
Yeah, what was that? What does that mean?
Do you remember when the baby was threatened by the Nigerian man?
no.
I think you don't think that's what they're talking about.
Jesus
Either that or
Christ.
it's maybe anchor babies.
No, I'm not too sure.
Like it's not a good story. You know what I mean? I
They
know
never
it's not
are.
gonna be Nigerian man saves baby from alligator by fucking stabbing its eyes with a sharp.
No. I think they came up with a new rocket shuttle that they were planning on being the next country to land on the moon. I think.
But it said something about a baby in Canada. I don't know. I want to move on.
Nigerian princess.
Freaking out. What are they doing with the babies? What are you doing with the babies?
So,
You
I
big
guess-
monsters. What are you doing? Stop it!
Yeah, I think I talked about that in my last live stream. The babies being sold.
Oh,
Well,
don't-
China does it too. I mean, an entire region of people go missing and they harvest their organs. There's unusually short waiting times for organ transplants in China.
Yeah.
oh,
That's kind
okay.
of fucked up.
Oh no, Nigerian anchor babies. Fuck, that sucks to think about.
Is that what it was? The anchor
That's
babies?
what Canada Poly did. Jesus. Like
Well-
that's you feel kind of violated in a way. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't personally raped, but the country a little bit was.
A lot
You know
of
what I mean? So
a
it's
lot
like,
of
did you use my people to fucking buy a fucking passport? Those are good Canadian girls and they deserve love, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like you motherfucker. It pisses me off in a weird animal type way. Like you don't.
Well, I don't know if it's
Who do you
necessarily.
think you are?
It might not necessarily be the way you're thinking about it. Some people just
I don't
come here to have their babies, like
Well,
the Chinese do.
I guess.
That's why there's
I don't know why I thought of it that
300,000
way. But that way, that's still
That's pretty
that's still-
sick. Like you're just watching too much interracial porn, I think.
Either way, like you're still like you're taking advantage of the country. Like that's not.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and that's what the Chinese. That's how there's 300,000 Chinese in Hong Kong right now, is because they come here, they're born, they go home, they study there, and they come back here to hail the Red Star. And the amount of white people in this that went to school in China that work in our government is kind of surprising as well.
Falun Gong. I don't even want to go there.
no.
Oh.
Those poor people. Honestly, like I've met some pretty
Winnie,
good ones.
why? Why would you bring those up? Those sick fucks. They're like the real life boogeymen. Just fucking insane.
But the Falun Gong?
Yes.
No, those I don't know. Maybe you're getting mixed up. They're the people that get their organs harvested. They're like
Yeah.
yoga fanatics.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking psychotic. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's right, Thomas. If you want to get going at any time, like we go for like 2-3 hours sometimes. So
Oh,
if
yeah,
you want to
Yeah,
bounce out,
I gotta. And apologies to your audience. I know this is not my my best performance tonight. I've been going through a little bit of stuff lately, but thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. And thanks for serving, guys.
let me know. I didn't serve myself. You got to thank Raging there.
I did, yeah, rage and serving,
Yeah,
and government that's coming in with the chat, eh? You know.
Yeah, getting grabbled a little bit. But if you want, drop your Facebook or YouTube channel while you're here to everybody if they want to find out more of your story and what you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, my YouTube channel is Thomas the Zog, and my Facebook is the same name. It's going to be a little bit underwhelming, okay? I promise you that. I'm just generally a guy that is a loner, and I talk to my camera, and people like to be my camera sometimes. And, that's just, that's how it is. And, hopefully it grows into something better than that. And obviously all this political stuff that I do as well. But, it was nice to meet you guys and kind of see some of the work that you're putting in. And, I got to say, I learned a lot. And I learned some things that are probably going to make it not easier to sleep at night. So thanks a lot.
I haven't slept in 7 years. I'm only 23 years old. Look at my face, Thomas. Look at it.
It really makes me think. it really makes me think that guys should start buying their own gear and equipment because we're
Never
not.
do such a thing.
Well, it's just
Never do such
we're at a scenario here where if the troop numbers are this low, guys, we have to start building up force to be able to challenge force. Otherwise, we're going to lose everything. And I don't know how to do that.
Most
I don't have
important
a
thing is
background in
food.
that. Say what now?
Food. If you can order those red elephants, Vincent James.
That's another thing, man. Like I keep telling people, I don't even know if I like saying it because
he orders a lot of that shit. Like you look for him, he's got like 3 months survival food, rations, and whatever else that would last you for 3 months. And if you had that in the wintertime, you'd be all right so long as you could stay warm and you had a gun so you could hunt deer, rabbit, whatever you fucking get your hands on. People, you don't want to eat people.
K. All right, guys. I'm gonna dip out here and maybe do my homework or something.
All right, man. All right. Thanks for coming by.
All right. Bye for now.
Cheers.
Well,
how are you? Welcome to the Red Zone.
Flying high. What a ride, ladies and gentlemen.
What a story.
The fable.
What a story.
The legendary. The notoriously, ambiguously hard to read. Thomas Zahn.
Yeah, that was quite a story. Tried to already commit political asylum. They fucked up the paperwork, and he walked back, I guess. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack.
I thought he was in a mental. I don't know.
That's a hell of a story. Told us about Ryan being a Fed.
I don't know who Ryan is.
No.
I don't know if that was even the rights. Like there were several people asking about it in the chat. So there's like something's going on here that we don't know about.
There's more to meet.
I don't even know if we got the real story. I don't know what happened, but. Yeah, this is.
He tried to unpack quite a bit there. There's more to meet CI with that fella.
Yeah, some of it was pretty wild.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So what else is happening in the world, big guy?
I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about. Something about the fucking Chinese and the Nigerians and we're just getting run over.
What? We just walked over, and that's why I feel Wexit. Wexit. It's probably it's the only option at this point because, and I think this Peter Downing guy too is pushing secular Christian values. I think he's trying to bring that to the table now too. And you know what? At this point, if everybody else is clinging on to something, I'm going out with that team.
It's just, everything's being like degenerated. Like everything is getting split into camps. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, even the conservative part, like in the United States right now, there's like a civil war going on. Yeah. They've got there's the conservatives, and then there's the Donald Trump conservatives, and the non-Donald Trump conservatives. So that's bad enough. And now there's like a subgroup of that. So now there's like Conservative Inc. is like the fake conservatives that are only pretending that they think they're only pretending they like America, but they really don't. And they're, and then on the other side, you've got this Nick Fuentes kid who's like 21, and he's having like a huge impact already. Like all the young guys are swarming around him, being like, "No, you guys are full of shit." So it's like there's going to be. It's not even the right against the left anymore. It's the right versus the alt-right versus the other alt-right versus the other right. Like, this isn't good. This isn't how you win, guys. Splitting up into fucking 7 camps and then fighting each other while the fucking Chinese and everybody else runs off with the gold. Do you know what I mean?
It's very entertaining, though.
Maybe I'm paranoid, but...
The conversation has come back over to the right, but it is keeping everybody busy.
Yeah, but it's not even like a unified, like nobody's in charge. It's like everybody, the weird cancel culture shit is like here too. I was thinking about this. I thought about doing a video like this, like my last one. I just get fucked up and I just unleash my the shit that bothers me or I think about. But I had a friend. I talked about this before. I had for like 25 years, right? And it came up to like this point. I think during the election, sometime like that, and. He just didn't like what I would send him like links to shit that from like Zero Hedge and like alternative websites, not the fucking Washington Post. You know what I mean? Not those fucking guys.
Not the
and he was into journalism and he thought it was the fucking, it was his third fucking choice at university. You know what I mean? It wasn't his fucking dream, but he acted like I was insulted. He lost his fucking mind because I didn't like the media and he did. So it was like, so because of that, we're not friends anymore. Like, so let me get this straight. We're not gonna be friends anymore because we've been friends since we were like fucking 5. I drove across the country to your fucking wedding for like 19 hours with my pregnant wife, by the way. She came too, just for you. and you're gonna go, oh, you think that there's fake news? We're not friends anymore. Like, oh, I'm sorry, is that your fucking team? If that's how easy it is, that's not good, man.
No,
Like,
and we've all been
that's
kind of
insane.
conditioned that. We've all been conditioned that way, and
Yeah. But I mean, that's everybody. I think everybody in this chat probably has that story. It's like there's no room for dissenting. It doesn't even, whatever it is. It's like
Well,
you can't disagree about anything and be friends at all. Like at
people
all.
have now-
It's like, wait a minute. What do you mean you don't like? There's so many little battle lines that are drawn now. There's so many hot topics where it's like,
and that's how the problem is. People have found solace and comfort in people online where there's no connection, physical connection. Like me and you, we can only talk about this shit right now.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to go down the street and talk about this shit, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. So there's no cohesion.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking about the same shit. We think we're comfortable right now because we can talk about this on air. We got 200 people maybe listening to it, but those 200 people are spread out all over the fucking country. They
I'm
don't
going to be
mean
in a history
shit.
book somewhere of hung traitors during the failed rebellion. These rebels scum were rounded up outside Oakville, Ontario. We hung them over the pier. Their bodies stank for weeks. The crows pecked their bones. Next, children will be learning about the great Lord Emperor Trudeau of Glorious this way. It's like my fucking nightmare, you know.
Your platoon mate there wants to know if who would win in a UFC fight, pavers or roofers.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Roofers.
Fair question. I'm going to say pavers.
Really? Roofers are like up in the air though. That takes some balls sometimes. You can fall off the fucking roof.
They might be nimble,
And it's
but
hot as fuck.
I've seen the way roofers drink. Right?
It's 'cause of the stress.
They're coming in at a disadvantage.
And stress makes you crazy,
roofers always look 10 years older than what they are.
Yeah, dude, because they're like mean on the inside now. They've been like beaten to a fucking sharp edge. Why do you think? I'm only 23. You know what I mean? Like that's what happens.
I don't know. I think if the paver doesn't get knocked out in the first 2 minutes, he's got him.
He may. I don't know. Depends. I'd have to see the stats. What's the reach advantage? I mean, what are we talking about? Is one of them black?
Yeah,
like these things
pretty
matter.
It's pretty generalized. You always bet on black.
Is one guy 6 feet or 6 inches taller than the other guy? I don't know. Does one guy have a cool fucking tattoo?
Are we talking about a bell curve?
Does he have, a cool haircut? Does he look stupid? Like, what do we,
Bell curve of your average roofer and your average paver? All right, maybe I might switch it to roofer.
Oh, man.
I've seen those pavers. Some of those signs might end up being a woman. You don't want to exclude the women.
We're in so much trouble.
How long do you think we have? December 10th? We're done? Like they come for our
I don't know,
votes?
man. I don't know.
I've been trying to get an American bank account. But
Stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Like, why do you guys gotta ruin everything?
Everything, bit by
Why?
bit. They just start pecking away at everything. Like, it was good just having Google Hangouts. That was working just fine.
Like, it's just one thing after the other. Everything's banned and taken away. Like, every fucking thing.
But if you listen to Owen Benjamin, man,
Suffocating.
don't despair. It's, necessity is the influence of invention, I guess, or how does that saying go?
I mean, well, I don't know.
Necessity.
Somebody said I made my cripple ass feel old. Did I? I don't. Is that good? He said, "LOL." I didn't.
Is he
maybe?
a roofer?
Does he want to feel old? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I do. My powers are unpredictable.
Old
No
pavers
one knows.
looks like Keith Richards, leather. True
It's an
enough.
asphalt reflection. Standing in front of the hot pavement day after day.
But the guys they left us with a fair question. What do you do? Who do you plead to? There's nobody. You got to take it upon yourselves.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Peter Downing right now is the only guy with the balls who's fucking doing anything.
There's a lot of it's still too early to tell because it's like not everybody's. Someone's like, I think all our channels are screwed. Yeah, probably, man.
Oh, we're done.
If they don't get us,
guess, all right, we
if
got
they
to
don't
go to
get-
D Live, or do you
if
want
they
to
don't get
start
us-
a? Sorry, what do you want? Yeah,
there'll be a purge around the American election. Really gets going. Probably like when is it? November, right? No,
next year October.
when? Yeah, it's November. Like a year from now, I think, isn't it?
something like that. Yeah,
And then the new guy takes office in January. Yeah, right. So probably by springtime, they're gonna start. There's gonna be a house cleaning, I think. So they don't even cut any of that shit out immediately. Just try and shut it the fuck up, and see what happens.
we got to.
If that doesn't work, then they're gonna come with the fucking hate speech laws. on top of that. So even then when you go to alternatives, it's like, well, like you keep giving up ground is what I'm saying. Like, and then eventually you're in a corner, and it's like the more ground you give up, the harder it is to get it back, guys. It's better. It's like, well, it's not that bad yet. It's like you don't want to wait until you're down 7-0 in the third period with 9 minutes in the game to go, okay, now I guess I'll fucking, what are you doing? It's way easier to fight when it's like, wait, as soon as you suspect that they're up to something, you go, no, wait a minute now. We're going to talk about this before we fucking do anything. And we just let them do it.
Okay, well, if that's the case,
nobody fucking cares.
We're just talking about it right now ourselves, no different than anybody else. So how do we start a Raging Rants?
I'm doing it right now so anybody else, they see it and they feel more confident that they're not fucking crazy and they have the guts to talk about this in public, because that's the only way we beat anything.
No, I'm saying we need to ourselves take it upon ourselves to start our own website, Raging Rants website.
That needs money and shit.
Does it?
Yeah.
What does it cost for a website?
I don't know. Fuck.
All right. So if I can get an American bank account, if I can get an American bank account, I can get the donations out of YouTube. So
I don't know what
we could use that to do that.
I don't know what it would cost to run a fucking, because you need a server that would be able to stream off of. You know what I mean? I don't imagine that's a typical. It's probably not cheap to host your own like type video stripe streaming server like that would. I don't know if you'd have to license something or pay for something or develop your own. Fucking God forbid. I don't know.
You know what's going to be missing? It's the fucking library that YouTube has. That thing has been like, a fountain of information of people to go down whatever road they want to go down. Like just such a even the tutorial videos, like the Hitler historical videos. It's such a book
it was
burning.
So good, man.
So it was accessible.
So fucking good. Like 5 years ago, YouTube was amazing. The shit that was on here was incredible. Like,
Wild West.
I couldn't fucking believe it. And I would look it up and I'm like, that's true? Holy shit. Now it's all gone.
Everything.
All of it. And I just remember it sometimes and go, oh yeah, and then this happened. I'm like the crazy old guy and that survived the book burnings. And it's like, now all that's left is his oral record, I would say something about World War II and they'd be like, what, really? I'm like, you don't have to go look it up. I'm the only one that knows. Now you know. You have to go and find it. And they're like, holy shit, that did happen. I'm like, I know. Like
Wild
there's so much shit they don't teach us at all. And then it was put out there for a while. Those of us that saw some of it went, wait a minute, what the fuck is actually going on around here in this little planet we're living on? And then it was taken away. So now it's like, well, now what, man? It's like that. There.
It was the Wild West for a while.
That was your chance. Now you know. Now you know what's going on.
What are you going to do?
It's up to you now.
What are you
know what I mean? Like, what are you waiting for? Do you think there's going to be another flood of that? No, it's getting tighter now. The information is being controlled more strictly every month, every year. That's not coming back ever. So if you lived through that time and you saw all that shit and read it, like, you better hang on to it because you might not ever even be able to find it ever again pretty soon.
Even if you try to start a group or
that's fucking crazy. Like that's book burning. That is the same thing. Like that's information that they're just destroying. That's the crime. It's like, so we banned some videos. It's like, no, this is like public record. This is history. This happened. Like I watched it. It exists. It's arguably a work of art. It's something someone created for public consumption. That's what public appreciation. That's what art is, right? And the government has come in and has flamethrowered a bunch of shit. And everyone's like, oh, that's just a bunch of, wait a minute now.
Scary.
Even if you didn't even know what that was. And they're like, you walked into a library and you walk in and they're just torching a big pile of books. You go, what the fuck are they doing over there? Like, oh, no, that's a bunch of evil shit you don't want to hear. Those are a bunch of Satan, devil worshiping books. And they're like, oh, okay.
Well, do you remember when you were growing up? Do you remember when you were growing up, you always had an encyclopedia in your house? Like, most families had the encyclopedias, and there was always this wealth of information that you could trust. You didn't know something, you went there. If not, the dictionary. And now it's all online. Everybody can control what you look at.
But even those, it's like, who wrote these, though? That was what was good about YouTube. It was like there was like multiple people, like depending on the topic, like if it was 9/11 or it was Las Vegas or World War II or like any shady things that like I wonder JFK, all that. There was a lot of people. There was so much. It's like I forget about a lot of it, and I go, is that video still gone? What about this? Gone. Is it on BitChute? Gone. It just doesn't exist now. I'm like, oh, weird. And it's like, how do you get that back? Yeah. It's like you got a brief window and a bunch of people were like, trying to tell you, you got to run, the fucking run, you idiots. And you just slam the door shut. And you're like, you saw nothing. You're like, oh,
That's what it feels like, doesn't it?
okay. Alex
All
Jones
that
is
information.
fucking- Alex
Yeah,
Jones.
Alex
fucking-
Jones, believe it or not, he was the
What?
biggest part of a lot of people's awakenings, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was like the test case. That's the thing. I was like,
Yeah.
why would they ban him? Like, I don't understand. Like, if he was,
What difference did it make?
it's an act. Is it show? Like, I don't know. But there wasn't any pushback, and then that was the first channel to like get banned, like high profile, like even on the fence banned. Like there wasn't swearing, violence, nudity, child fucking. There was none of that. It's just a guy talking crazy shit like we're doing right now. He's just speculating, and and they just burned the books, and now he doesn't exist. And everyone was like, "Oh, well, he's probably crazy, I suppose." And then they're like, "Oh," and then they got a couple more guys, and then a couple more guys, and they got they get Red Ice TV there last week. Another they're just picking people off every little while. There's another one, and everyone goes, "Oh shit, I guess they got that one." No one's reacting. No one's like, what the fuck? You can't just get rid of people because you don't like what they're doing. They're not. I guess they're not up here murdering people or doing something crazy. It's like, oh, I don't. He said words that I didn't like, so I erased him. Like, oh, this isn't insane at all. No, this is totally fucking normal. We're all crazy. We're the crazy people. They are the smart ones. Let's give them all of our guns. Let's do that.
And you know what the worst part is? Even if you wanted to start your own website, most of them have YouTube as the tool or video engine, so you can watch stuff on your website.
That's what I'm saying. Too. You need your own. You need your own platform and everything. Like, it's not easy. And Google is on board with YouTube. They're the same company, so that's out. Getting walls are getting tighter, a little bit tighter. Like, you remember the '90s? Holy shit! You could find anything easily. God. There was no dark web. It was like the door swings open. You just ran off into the jungle. There was nothing. It was like you're good luck, son, and you're like, there's just whatever the fuck. There's no everything was just everywhere. It was crazy. The shit you could find. It was bananas.
Oh, I remember videos.
Fucking insane.
Have you ever seen Mr. Hands?
No, I don't think I remember that one.
Oh, guy died.
Got famous, and you'd get like emails from other school, be like, dudes, have you seen this fucking website?
Right. And you'd get fired from your job and shit because you'd open it and like you couldn't close it.
It's just some video from like Czechoslovakia or Russia, and they're just murdering people and putting it on the internet.
Mr. Hands.
Just like that. Everybody, what the fuck?
Go to DuckDuckGo and look for Mr. Hands. I gotta acknowledge these super chats before I get my fucking chance. Thank you, the government, again, at investive/Canadian.NathanMachad.Twitter.
Michaud.
Michaud?
Yeah. Aren't you near Quebec? Don't you know this stuff?
No, I don't do that.
Well, gold was going up for a while. It went up quite a bit over the summer, didn't it?
Watch the economy sink. Yeah. Well, fair enough.
That's always what happens. I'm hoping Bitcoin does the same. It goes up also.
Well, I don't have any stocks or anything like that.
I have a little bit. I'm not going to be a billionaire or anything, but
I'm buying.
If it took a big jump, I'd be a happy man.
I'm going to be buying rations and dry foods. Getting ready. Because I don't know. It could be this winter. It could be next winter. Whenever it's going to come in wintertime. Even this winter, people are going to become energy poor. People are going to be put out into their homes.
It's so crazy. Like, I can't believe people weren't more upset. I was like, this worked? This is working? Like, so we're going to have a carbon it's not, I'm sorry, it's a price on carbon. It's just a price on carbon, Derek. It's not a tax, you silly man. It's a price on carbon, peasant. And
I can't believe the audacity.
It was like, the first year, and they would say terms that people don't understand, because how the fuck are you going to do that math? They'd be like, it's fucking 12 cents per every 5,000 metric tons of CO fucking, and it's like, what does that mean? How much is that? Is that a lot? Is that not a lot? I don't know. CO2 fucking pollution numbers. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a physicist. I'm not like, this is what was in the paper to the average Canadian, remember? So it's like, it's not a big deal. And then those smart fucking people that are smarter than me did the math, and they're like, this is a lot. This is like, the first year is like average is going to be like $100 a month. Okay. And then by the end, it's like $500-600 a month per household on average.
And you're going to be energy poor before you know it, to the point where you can't even afford gas to go protest.
$600 a month in taxes.
And you know what? When you go to try and cut down trees and have a fireplace, that's going to be against the UN Sustainable Development Agreement. You need to get permission to cut down any trees in your own yard, even if you want to stay warm.
most of the people in the country are within $200 to $300 between, having money and not having money, like being bankrupt. Like their paycheck, $200, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're bringing this tax in. Like the government knows this. They know that people are going to be fucked, and they did it anyway. And I was like, how do you not? And on top of the carbon tax, this wasn't even included in the carbon tax numbers. There's GST on the carbon tax, so there's a tax on the tax. Like, and it's
so ridiculous. We need to fight poverty, and they're going to tax everybody.
Have you seen the price of food? Like shit is just crazy. In the last couple of years, it's like, when are cucumbers fucking $3? What the fuck? And people are like, well, it's not $3. Like, think bigger over this fucking entire of your grocery bag. This is like $70 from just 6 months ago. It's like, that's a lot, right? And you're doing this twice a month, $140. Now it's $100 more. When did that happen? Like in a couple of years? Why? Rent. There's another one. Why is rent so fucking high?
Part of it's artificial inflation because the amount of people that are being a friend of mine has 2 houses that he rents out, and he signed a 6-month contract with the government to allow Syrians to live there, and they overpaid and paid up front for 6 months. So obviously he's going to take it. So that screws everybody else.
Where'd they get that money, I wonder?
Right? So
a lot of money coming out of Somalia. Didn't know they had a booming economy to fucking bribe employers like that. Weird.
Our own money is the cause. Part of the cause of why our fucking housing prices and why there's a shortage.
Yeah. Silver. Buy silver, good man.
I say buy food. Buy seeds.
That too. Like, silver and gold is good.
Food.
Bullets are better.
Bullets are better. Like, it's
so man.
True. And I see a lot of my boys are out there. Some of the guys, my followers and that, have been posting a lot of pictures with deers. Good on you guys. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Big bucks too.
I gotta get out of the city. I'm a fool to stay here. As soon as I start to feel it, like, yeah, it's time to go. Do you know what I mean? There's gonna be a shift in the attitude. Like, you can feel it when a place is turned again is not friendly anymore. I guess maybe it's just me because of Grubby will tell you just from being overseas. Like, I'd never experienced that before, being in a place where people legit don't like you. They just fucking don't like you at all just by looking at you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd never been like, you never walk through a town in Canada and everybody stops what they're doing and is like fucking mean little kids and shit, and they're doing this shit. I was like, whoa, that's a weird feeling. But even when they're not doing that, you can tell, like, when you go into different villages and stuff, like, yeah, they hate our guts. It's obvious, man. So it's like, you can,
there's
when you start to feel that out in public, when you're walking down the saying, oh, you always go get groceries here, and it's like, I don't feel.
Thanks, Rennie Steps.
That's when you start thinking about getting out of there.
Thanks for the donation there, Rennie Steps. Also, you feel like that in different parts of the GTA.
I imagine. Like, it's not that bad here, but it will be eventually. Why wouldn't it? Why they're not going to stop? Like, if we import 1 million people a year every year, like, wow, that's way more than our fucking birth rate. Like,
you can't even
isolated areas. It's like boom, 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 boom. You're just exploding the population. Why are you doing that?
How the fuck do we have the infrastructure to even vet that many people? We don't. We're just gonna. Where can you find 1 million people in the modern world today that would be beneficial to any society? Let's be honest. What countries have that population that they can just give up 1 million fucking
that's
people?
That's the joke. It's like, oh, 1 million more doctors. And you go, you're being racist. I'm like, no, I'm making a point. Like, do you think there's 1 million doctors and physicists and engineers and nurses and scientists and professors or whatever?
Neurosurgeons.
Do you think that's who that is?
Do you see the wait times? The wait times in hospitals should be fucking next to nothing if we get that many doctors and nurses and fucking educated cabbies that are engineers.
It just blows my mind. Like, do you really believe that? Like,
what's actually happening is
1 million people. 1 million fucking every year. There's just an endless supply of 1 million doctors every year. Fuck, we're going to be living on the moon soon.
You know what they're actually importing? They're importing human traffickers that are posing as Lyft drivers everywhere. That's what I've been hearing. Like, these are not fucking. I'm not making that up. That's what's happening right now.
It defies logic. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. We don't need this many people. Doing so is obviously detrimental to everyone that lives here. So why would you do that? The only thing that makes sense is they want that to happen. That's the only
thing they say is the opposite. It's like, we want to fight poverty, but we're going to tax everybody. We want to fight climate change, but we're going to bring a ton of people here where we have to have a big carbon footprint. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, they know there's a recession coming. They know that. Everybody knows that. And it's like, well, we're going to bring in millions of fucking people and just really let the job market fucking just
We're
have
just
it
gonna
out. Just have a
saturate
fucking, like,
everything.
fuck our own people. Like, no. Like, this is not the time to be bringing in millions of people when the country's going to be broke here for the next fucking 20 years. I don't know. It's not going to be good.
It's
Like,
fucking.
What are you
It's
doing?
actually scary when you actually think about it. And I tell you, I've thought of escape routes already. I don't want to be here when this shit goes down. This fucking ship is gonna go down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're doing the same moves Venezuela is. And people say, oh, well, Venezuela had a corrupt government. Hello. Look at our fucking government and how fucking corrupt it is. If people can't see it, like, get a fucking acreage. Quick.
Hero.
Go scout out some land up north somewhere where you know it's not going to be too hard of a fight.
I need a Canadian Trump. Need a Canadian Trump.
No, you just need the Trump that's up there right now.
You need somebody to fucking do something, man, because there's
going to be new lines drawn in the next 4 years.
All of the inmates run the asylum entirely. There's nobody in Parliament that's like going to be able to do anything or is going to try to. They're all on the same team, obviously. You know,
at least in the UK, they have a couple of the lords that are standing up and saying, "Hey, what the fuck's going on?"
We might get to that point because
what do we have here?
Person like
our Senate is filled with foreigners.
I don't think
government is filled with foreigners. What the fuck are we doing here?
I don't think any of the people here are stupid or naive. That, you know what I mean when I say like, oh, they all do this or they all like. I don't obviously mean everybody. Everybody knows that.
No, he means
like,
that all
the conservatives
you
people or the liberals did that. It's like obviously it was like, well, I know this person. They're actually like, I'm sure there's fucking good people in there, right? But as an organization, it's a bad thing, and as a whole, it fails. Some people don't understand. You know, they just get caught up. Whatever.
Even the words are inverted. The conservatives are not conservative
for whatever reason. Like, either they're on the same team, they're working together on purpose, or they are incapable of stopping them. In which case, the result is the same. Yeah. So the conservatives are pointless at this point. It's like you couldn't stop them. So, and what can you do for me now? Nothing. Why are you here?
So what are we
doing? Get out
of
the way. We need to do something else. This isn't working. Like, no, we're going to do the same thing again. And we're just going to keep doing that because no one has read what the definition of insanity is ever. Because, again, he won the last election pretty easily. Wasn't that close. He only lost a couple of points after all of that unbelievable. It should be a book, like The Many Fucking Adventures of Justin Trudeau. It would be insane. Someone should write that book of all just the scandals of his first 4 years here.
We have to have a recount. There's no way they're not going to do it. Like,
that didn't get rid of him. Half the country didn't vote. It was like, if that didn't do it, man, what will get rid of him?
What's going to happen?
Like, and he's got more people coming in.
It's so embarrassing. Like, it's so accurate to say we're not the United States' little brother. We're the Soviet Union's autistic gay cousin.
I heard you say that earlier.
That's fucking accurate. Like, we're so fucked. It's not even funny. Like, we need to carve out our own space and put up some walls.
Either way, I know for a fact that Washington will take somebody's side. That's a fucking fact.
And it comes at a price.
Are they going to take, though? That's the question. So it's like, oh, we'll be civil war and it'll fall apart. Having a nightmare state on the border of the United States is not a fucking ideal situation for them. And people think that like we're independent and they're like, oh, like no, daddy's going to come over here and break up the fighting. You know what I mean? He's going, no. This is not a good time.
What the fuck did you do to your room?
Put your toys back.
We left you with the family business and the fucking resources up here, and look what you did. Look what you did.
I don't manicure it. It just grows this way. Well, I cut it at the bottom, but I don't like it to go too long. But that's it. It just kind of clippers so it doesn't get too crazy, too out of control. You know, have some decency, man. You're married. Don't turn into a complete mountain man. It's embarrassing. So
is our history.
What the fuck I was talking about.
Our history. Let's think about that. That's embarrassing. Canada wasn't forged out of blood. It was forged out of. All right, you go over there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go further this way.
Oh, that's what it was. So say the Wexit thing happens, or looks like this might actually fucking happen. They're gonna get involved on somebody's side, like Ottawa's. Or Calgary, I don't know, maybe both, because like this affects them. big time. We're a huge trading partner with them. They get a ton of our oil. They have a lot of business interests, and you know what I mean. Like the country just can't go down the toilet.
Well,
they're not going to allow that.
Let's be honest.
Crazy.
Peter Downing needs to be surrounding himself with people that can be talking to those people. He should be talking.
That's
to
the thing. Like if I'm out there, you go at them first and let them know. Like, listen, I'm on board. Whatever you want, man.
Right? Yeah, you gotta talk. You gotta have investment. Saying,
yeah.
Listen, once we get through, it's investment.
I'd fucking fly right down. You could call me a sellout if you wanted, but like if I was on that team, just hypothetically, say I'm from Alberta, and I'm like, I absolutely, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like I'm convinced. Like this is our only chance. We're fucked. We have to. So the Wexit thing's going to go through, and then you're thinking like, but. Really, we're just going to go it on our own. Like we need the U.S. for so many fucking things. We need them to get our oil out of here. We need to have BC, and that, you know what I mean.
We need.
And they're going to either get involved on Ottawa's side or ours. So, who do you want to be against the United States, or do you want to be with the United States? Which outcome do you think?
You're going to have to choose a currency. You're going to have to choose. You have to change over postal services or whatever the fucking infrastructure, Bell or whatever. Communications companies would have to be kicked out, and the Americans would have to come in. All Hawaii would have to go. Yeah. All Chinese phones, all Chinese infrastructure.
Crazy. Yeah, like it's not like it hasn't happened before. The United States has been annexing territory its entire existence. It was the 13 colonies at one point. Now it's the whole fucking continent. Like Mexico used to be twice the size it is now. No, the United States like, no, that's John Gotti was like, that's it's gonna be fucking mine now, Mexico.
They're gonna
got the fuck out. Louis, damn, fucking toss this nerd in the ditch.
Gotti's been sleeping because California is yellow. Yeah.
And then all the land in the middle was like native territory, and they're like, nah, fuck that. Ran that over anyway. Like they just fucking took it all, man. And they just kept building and building, and it's like the Louisiana Purchase. They fucking grabbed that from the French. They've just it used to be the doctrine. I think it was called Manifest Destiny or something. But like, if the opportunity presents itself, it's like, hey, that's an American tradition, taking shit. It's like, look at that Canadian province, the one with all the oil. We like oil, don't we, boys? Texas,
well, he's already been talking about.
Texas is going to be like, those Texas companies. They got all those fucking contracts. You damn sure they do. Dude. You got to be dreaming if you think the U.S. isn't like sitting there really like.
And let's be honest,
do we do it?
That would be the pathway, wouldn't it? They wouldn't just stop there. They would make a new interstate highway right up to Alaska.
Oh yeah.
And you would isolate BC, and you would already have coastline.
And BC would be forced to join them eventually.
Because it's like massive takeover.
They'd probably just slowly like, hey, it's like the mafia. It's like, I'm not going to come in and burn your shop down, but I'm going to make it very hard for you to do business. It's going to get very difficult for you around here next long time.
Yeah, as long as you hold out. Taps are off to that fucking pipeline. That would be the first thing.
Listen, they're going to keep holding on like this. Derek's going to come over here and he's going to break your hands. He's going to take a hammer and he's going to break your hands. Do you want that? I don't want that. Derek, do you want that?
I want that.
We don't want that. Okay?
I do want that.
So I'm begging you, British Columbia, whatever the fuck your name is, just take the fucking deal. I don't want to come back. It's a long drive. It's a long fucking drive. He snores. I fucking can't handle it. We don't have money for planes. We're a very poor mafia right now.
I could see that. And if he wants Greenland as well, doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that was about.
He said
what was that about?
Buying it or something.
I'm going to buy Greenland. Why? Why? What the fuck would he do that for?
What he put out though, he promised not to put a golden hotel on it with Trump fucking. He's the best troll in the world.
Like why? Like that's the thing. Like to be a fly on the wall in the White House would be the fucking ride of a lifetime right now.
I want a meme. You got to make me a meme that has my hotel on Greenland. Make me a video.
I want it out there. I want it trending by Friday. I want it trending. Do it now.
Make it trend, Jack. Make it trend.
Melania, bring me a donut. Oh, he is like the fattest president. It's pretty funny.
He's still like honestly, he's a badass president.
Teddy, fuck, there was another guy who was pretty fat too. Oh fuck, I can't remember his name now. One of the
Roosevelt?
No, one
Ford?
No.
Gerald Ford.
No, earlier.
He wasn't. No.
He's like fucking pre-World War II, I think. Monaco?
Oh, Winston Churchill, wasn't he?
No, that's a British prime minister.
Not Winston Churchill. I'm sorry, I'm thinking there's a black and white picture. Who was it when they were forced into World War II?
Fuck. Roosevelt was president for FDR? No, it was before FDR. FDR was president when the war started, I'm pretty sure. But who the fuck was the guy? I don't know. This is a weird conversation. Teddy. Yeah, wasn't it Teddy something? Teddy Roosevelt? Is that who it was?
Roosevelt?
I think there was a it was FDR and there was Teddy Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt. And Teddy was like Taft. Yeah, Taft was a fat fuck too.
Okay.
Yeah, but Teddy was like a fucking badass. He was like a crazy person, yeah. He was in like the Mexican Wars and shit. He was legit. He was an OG.
And JFK was a homo.
I don't think so.
No? Why is that?
No. That guy was notorious. He was bad for that, man. What's that?
The media thought he was.
I think the media hated him back then, like they don't like Trump now. I didn't know that. I thought he was like beloved at the time, but he was like, no, they didn't like him. The establishment did not like Kennedy. He was being called a communist sympathizer all the time and everything you could fucking imagine. It was like, oh, interesting. And when he was killed, like a bunch of people were pumped. Like if Trump got killed now, imagine how many people would be like partying. So it's like, it's a weird kind of similar vibe going on. Just from when I watched like the old news footage and that shit from the time, I'm like, weird. Like it's so, the attitude is so different than you would have. Well,
yeah.
But then they had sympathy. And then when Bobby Kennedy got killed, that's another, like they kill people like fucking crazy, dude. They are the mafia. Like they took over decades ago. And it's like, why doesn't somebody do something? It's like a bunch of people did and they all got shot. All of them.
I'm looking at
bang, Kennedy, bang, other Kennedy, bang. There's your son Kennedy. Yeah, crash his fucking plane too. Wipe them all out. They've all got to go. Kill everybody. And there was more. Malcolm X, like they just anybody that was anybody was like, no, kill them all. Kill everybody.
I'm just watching in the chat too the wars in between JFK. They're like, oh, JFK was totally gay. Oh, he was a womanizer. He was a meth smoking womanizer. It's like everybody's conflicted on him. I'm never gonna fucking know. That shit'll never come out.
He was like, a lot of people loved him, but he was like the left wing. He was like the Bernie Sanders type guy back then. It was like, you either loved him or hated him. You know what I mean? Like right wing guys did not like Kennedy at all. He was like, he's a communist sympathizer because he was like trying to negotiate and wanted to like withdraw troops and all this shit. And they thought he was weak. And they're like, oh, he's fucking us on purpose. And then the CIA wanted to invade Cuba and he didn't want to. And they're like, oh, this guy's a fucking pussy. And, you know, so the right wing guys didn't like him at all. It was the Democrats that liked him. But by today's standards, he's a neo-Nazi. If he was a politician now, he'd be an alt-right fucking fascist monster.
Oh, it's ridiculous what's happening.
I see no reason why there
is an absolute fucking culture war that is happening.
I just can't understand. Canada
has
why
no idea that it's even in it.
Epstein didn't kill himself, no. And why is there 50,000 Mexicans coming across the border every month? I don't see a need for that.
I don't get it. Well, it's swayed it's going to sway Texas, and it's already swayed fucking
too many people.
California. California will never be Republican again.
I love nope. Same as
Mexico. Mexico has reclaimed it
again.
You're right. Same fucking deal. They've imported the fucking vote.
Epstein didn't kill him. I love that meme's still going. It's the best.
Don't let it die. Like Epstein.
It's awesome. Don't let it die like Epstein didn't do to himself.
So do you think he's alive then?
No.
No, you don't think that's a troll?
I just generally think like when people make claims like that, I go, what would be? I mean, thinking tactically, what's easier, safer, quicker, more likely to succeed? Just killing the guy, pretty easy to do probably, or we pretend to kill him and carry out this elaborate ruse where we fucking ship him away underground and hope, this goes right and that goes right. And we sneak him out through this fucking hole in the wall and fly him off to wherever. And nobody ever sees him again. And he never fucking or we could just kill him. You know what I mean? Like, do you think they give a fuck? Epstein's not like some powerful dude. He was like, you were just the guy we put in that place. This was just your job. You're like a mid-level employee around here. There'll be another Epstein tomorrow. There probably was. There probably was a new guy the next day.
His name is the Aga Khan.
Yeah, he's in Australia or he's in Thailand or fucking somewhere. One of these other rich ass, and he just took over.
Actually, that's where Trudeau vacations is the Aga Khan. So I imagine it's fucking him. Like
these people run the world. Like I was in the military, which is kind of an impressive thing to run. It's a massive organization that requires a lot of, you know what I mean? It's not easy.
A lot of moving parts.
Like, man, that's a lot of people to get doing all the same thing at the same time, and the whole that's difficult, man. So I can appreciate, like, they're running the world though. Can you fucking? So I've got to imagine they've got a tight fucking game of organ like what we did, but on another fucking level. You know, so when I think contingency plan and backup planning and, you know, secondary, you know, it's like, why wouldn't they do the same thing? So, yeesh, it's scary, man.
Yeah, see that contract the government's talking about there with the U.S. That is a good that's a good deal. No land taxes wherever you are.
Who was talking about that?
The government there.
Which
Thanks
guy?
for the donation. That's your buddy's name.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
Say in the U.S., certain states exempt vets from paying land taxes, and the Empire vets would be paid with land. I would trade all of that for the so-called help that they're doing right now.
Oh shit.
That's a fantastic deal with the vets.
Yeah.
Or it sounds like it anyway. You can make a ton of money off of property. Thanks for the donation, man.
at
You've
least
been really generous tonight.
Why did they kill Kevin Spacey? I don't know. Do you remember that Kevin Spacey was a weird one because he was clearly into some, you know,
He doesn't
when you
deserve
look
to
at it,
die
like
for
when the
what?
4chan nerds dug into it, you're like, oh, this guy's guilty as fuck. You know what I mean? Like he's not a good dude at all because they find shit like you wouldn't believe. They dig up shit from like 30 years ago, and you're like, wow, these guys are just up all night like maniacs, like must save the world. And like, God love them, man. Like everyone, the internet hates all those fucking 8chan trolls. It's like, but you didn't say what they said was a lie, though. You just said that they hacked the things or they're saying bad things, but you didn't say what it was. And you definitely didn't deny it. So that's weird. But Kevin Spacey, do you remember that weird video he did right after he was fired from
the weird
House
Frank
Card.
apology thing?
Yeah, it was like a week later or something. Everyone's like, dude, he made this weird video. And you're like, okay. And he's in character, kind of.
Yeah, I do remember this now.
And I'm like, the balls on this guy. What is he doing? Like, but he seemed like he was threatening someone. Did you get that vibe?
I don't remember it, to be honest.
He had a weird ring on that I didn't recognize, and he had a mug of something that was weird. Like, there was a couple of weirdly placed things in the video, and he was like, it was weird. The way he was talking was like he was talking specifically to someone. It wasn't, but it was like, he's talking to somebody, but it's not me. And that seemed obvious. And I was like, what the fuck went on there? So maybe he knows something, or maybe he's
I didn't care about it. Honestly, to me, it was just like he came out as a pedo. That's what it seemed like. I didn't really pay attention to it. It was all part of the Hollywood Me Too era where Hollywood's a bunch of freaks. Yeah. And it ties into the whole world's run by pedos. It always leads back to pedos.
I know.
Pedos.
Part. It's always there. That's the creepy shit. That's like the most evil thing I can think of. So it's like, of course they do. Of course.
Oh,
you know they kill them and eat them too. I'm like, probably. Fucking
just recently.
Of course that's true. You know what I mean? I go to sleep at night. I'm like, of course it had to be that. It had to be man-eating vampire soulless monsters.
Okay, well that's what it
comes to. The world. Fuck.
Doesn't that make you think about the story of Dracula as somewhat true? As like, okay, drinking people's blood, that actually makes sense when it comes down to it. And if that's...
There's a lot of stories out there like that of people doing weird shit. And that fucking Stanley Kubrick movie, man.
Okay.
Eyes Wide Shut. They cut out 45 fucking minutes and nobody knows what was on it. And he dropped dead like days after showing the film to the executives. Whoop. Whoop. The rumors were there was a fucking child sacrifice scene and they were like drinking the blood and shit. And they were like, no, that's too much. So they cut out that whole part of the movie. Like it was leading up to that. And then there was kind of, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but Tom Cruise and his wife, Nicole Kidman, I don't remember their fucking names, but they infiltrating a fucking, like a secret society sort of thing. And then they get caught, like they're not supposed to be there. And they just kind of by chance found their way in. And there's this thing with a prostitute anyway, but eventually they figure out he's not. But they filmed it in an actual Rothschild mansion, which was bizarre. And this weird ceremony was very specific and weird. It was like, I feel like this might not be made up. It's bizarre. You got to see it, man. It's fun.
I was down the rabbit hole recently with watching this judge talking about child sacrifice and being very specific about adrenochrome.
At the end of the movie, too. So they have a daughter, Tom Cruise and I don't know why I never remember her name. Yep. And there was two guys earlier in the film that were at one of these parties. So they're like part of the fucking, these evil, these fucking psychos. And they're at a toy store with their kid. And they're like looking at each other like, I can't remember what they were saying, but they're like kind of sad. And the little girl like walks off. And then these two guys like take her away. Like insinuating they just gave up their kid as like a sacrifice to like, okay, now you can be in the club.
I don't doubt that. Any of that's like, all of that shit's probably in your face and true. Like
Stanley Kubrick did things like fucking like if this was a Stanley Kubrick film, every single thing behind me to my hat to the color of this fucking everything you see, he put there specifically. everything, every little fucking thing you can imagine. The guy was crazy. He would like move lamps 2/2 an inch, and he'd be like, no, a different lamp. Like it would just, he was a nut.
I'm gonna have to fucking rewatch all of that shit now. Now that I've been exposed and realized like what Celine Dion's actual clothing line was about and shit. I'm gonna go back and watch this shit.
What the fuck? You know what I mean? So when you know he's a guy like that, and then you watch that film, you have people break it down, and go watch this scene. You know how smart this guy is. You know what kind of movies he makes. Watch this fucking scene, and then like the child is just, he's like, they just took that kid, and he's like, yep. Why would he put that in the film? Like he's trying to tell you something, and then he was dead. Like a week later, it wasn't long, and they're like, "Oh, he had a heart attack," and it was like, "Well, that's a classic fucking." Oh, sure he did.
There was a video I was trying to mention there.
He was in perfect health.
I was trying to mention earlier about that video going around on Twitter of the judge talking about adrenochrome and how there's satanic rituals, and they actually scare the kid so that they produce this chemical in their brain.
Oh, dude!
So before they die, and it's called adrenochrome.
Yeah,
this is a real fucking thing. Like
I know there's a lot of bears in here too, and I know that Benjamin loves to talk about this stuff, so they're probably eating it up right now. But there's so I saw this movie, me and my wife, Dr. Sleep. It's the sequel to The Shining. Okay, it was a book first. It's a Stephen King book, and now it's a movie, right? But there's a scene in the movie. Basically, the plot of the movie is, if you guys, whatever, put it on mute. I don't care. You're not gonna see it. Fuck, who cares? It's a movie.
I'm gonna watch it now.
It's a fucking movie. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, it's a Stephen King book, and you're like, yeah, okay. But it's all about, like, so the kid from The Shining is psychic. And holy shit, there's a big one.
Wow.
Patria. Thanks, dude.
Wow.
Look at this guy.
Really, thanks, man. You're balling, eh?
What's going with that?
I've never seen a pink. I've never seen a pink before.
Where is that? I can't tell where that is. Is that Afghanistan? I think it might be.
Might be the airport.
He's in greens, so that's an old one.
Green with an AK-47. I've seen those guys at the airport when 9/11 happened.
That's probably back from maybe like 2003 or something, maybe. I don't know, man. Thanks, though. Oh, pro Pat.
Yeah, please say something else. Like, give us a...
Yeah, I can't even remember. But anyway, fuck, was I saying?
The sequel to The Shining.
Yes, so, okay. So the kid, Danny, from The Shining, like, he was psychic. That was the whole thing. Like, he had this psychic ability, The Shining, right? And then in the sequel, in the book, he's a grown-up, that there's other people that exist, and there's this little kid that is very psychic, but... Like, you got to understand the metaphors. Like, if you're kind of up on the whole Hollywood, there might be child-killing psychos. This is going to start to look creepy to you, because it started looking creepy to me when I was listening to it. I was like, oh my God, this is fucking... So there's a bunch of, like, basically vampires that live forever. And what they do is they find the psychic kids, or kids, whatever, and they like to kidnap them. And then they bring them back to their fucking little hideout, and then they torture them. And they torture them and torture them because it makes the steam, they call it in the book and in the film, like that's what they breathe, like, or they're eating the kid. It's a metaphor. I don't know. The life force of the kid they're consuming, I guess. But they specifically, they eat him in the book, and they stab him, and fuck, like, it goes on and on and on for hours and hours and hours. And then they fucking bury the kid. And then there's like all these missing kid posters and shit like that. And when you know about like the finders and all the sex scandals and the child trafficking and the whole thing, and I'm like, is this a fucking... Like, did I just watch a real thing? Is this what they do? Like, is this a metaphor for the whole fucking thing? Like, hey, guess what, kids? You know this is a thing in the world? There's a bunch of lunatics that grab kids and
it's softly getting you used to it. It's getting you used to it, just like the Hostel, where people just go missing and they're telling you about it. Yeah, I'm sure those stories are true, but they're just getting you used to it.
Fucking spooky.
Did you hear about the Queen and how she's not allowed in Canada? That goes along the same lines. How they just came and took 9 Native children.
Yeah, I don't like. That's the thing, is like there's no evidence of that. I was like, but I've seen people talking about it, and it seemed to be a real CBC broadcast that there was going to be a hearing, and these people, at least 2 of them, these Native guys, were going to go there. They were on TV. I saw it. I fucking saw it happen, like a couple years ago, and I can't find it anymore. But they were like Native guys, and they're like, "Yo, I've been waiting a long time to tell this story. Like, I always wonder what happened to my friends. You know, they were here with me in school one day, and they were gone, and I never saw them again." And
there was a lady that talked about
like
it
I
too.
had to say something because it's been too, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Cool, man. Like, that's crazy. I wonder what happened. Dead, both of them." I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, car crash or some fucking thing." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?" So, and that's it. And it's like, that was the end of the story, and there's no new information. So it's like, that's from everything else I've read about the Queen, I wouldn't disbelieve it. There's a
lady that I think that's still alive that talks about it still. because the story still pops up like once a year or something like that. But you're right, there was a CBC special.
Britain had a huge scandal with them.
They're going through one right now.
15 years ago or 20, I don't know when it was, but that was the first like Pizzagate came out over there, and I can't remember what that started that one, but there was like a few of them were arrested. It got crazy, and then it just, I don't know, it got buried. I guess I only read about it like years after it happened.
Well, that chick is out there still to this day that's accusing Prince Andrew right now of being on Epstein Island.
Yeah, and he did that. I guess that the episode, that interview he did was a disaster with BBC.
Oh, I didn't watch it yet.
Like sweaty mess. He's just blinking like crazy. He's like, I'm like, oh my god.
I didn't see a point in watching it. Like, I know it's going to be all lies. Like, he's a fucking
why would
pedo.
he do that? Like, did he really think? Is it arrogance? Does he think like, I'll just go out and say I didn't fucking? What are they going to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, did he think that?
I don't know.
Like, did somebody tell him to say it, or like, why? What's the move here? Because none of these people don't just do things. Everything's a fucking move of some kind.
It's to keep you distracted from what's actually going on. Pay attention to Prince Andrew because your entire culture is being raped by Islam.
Yeah.
Get used to it. The prince does it. Why can't these Arab men do it to your daughters if the prince does it?
Yeah. Well, we'll probably get greasy. I keep wanting to say that too. It's like, there's not that many troops. We don't have a big army, but it's like there's actually way more veterans than there are troops in the army, and a lot of them are still. I mean, they're my age or younger or older, a little bit, like between 27 and fucking 40, 45. Like, we're gonna be around a while, at least 20 years before we're all like aged out. So unless you guys are planning on, you better speed this the fuck up, because if things go south, we're gonna be real excited.
Oh no, they're playing the long game. They've been playing it for a while. Yeah. They got another 10. Well, let's be honest. They got four years for sure. But let's be honest, like 4 years. 4 years with Trudeau. You got another 4 million voters coming in at minimum, because they're just going to start piling in the next 4 years. It's never going to be conservative again.
Too fast. It feels like it's happening too fast.
It happened too fast.
Like, too many people are noticing. It's not like a few people. Like, a lot of people are aware of what's happening. And
Venezuela happened in 9 years, so there's
other countries like Europe. There's a bunch of countries like Sweden and is having problems, and Germany and the UK, Paris is fucking like, there's the yellow like people are like pissed everywhere.
Everywhere.
Hong Kong,
Iran just burned down the fucking central bank.
It's like things better hurry up, because it's like the fucking kettle's about to pop here. It feels like
new lines are being drawn everywhere. The world,
it could be like a global civil war.
I think we're there already. We're just not realizing
some days it feels like that, man. And you know what I mean? Would that be a bad thing? Because it would literally unite the planet. Not, like no one's conquering anything. It's just as like a grassroots movement across the internet or the world. And it was like, hey, you guys live in a shitty, corrupt state full of fucking assholes that, do you? Yeah. Hey, let's all get rid of them all. Everywhere. It's like Germany's doing it. Fucking Sweden's doing it. Why don't we do it? Like, it would spread like fucking crazy.
Because it's not really like
doing two angry countries.
They
like,
don't have
Germany's
guns.
Pissed.
They don't have.
No, they could get guns. That's
the Ottoman Empire is winning this war subversively right now.
That depends. It's like there's got to be. You got to hope there's fucking somebody out there that's got a few $1 billion that's like willing to go down with the ship and knows somebody that could ship in some gun. Like that's the thing. Like, wars aren't. You can be as angry and motivated as you want, but if you don't have money, you're not going to win. Somebody has to be backing you, because it's fucking expensive. How are you going to pay for it?
You got to look at the way the lines are drawn right there. Like, Italy would have to back the rebels in France.
And they'll say, well, what about the fucking Viet Cong or the French underground? And all this? Like, they got money and supplies from the Americans and everybody. Like they kept them alive. They were like, no, they want, because they were a thorn in the side of the enemy. So I was like, we want to keep them alive. They're doing, they're helping us out a little bit by throwing themselves at this indestructible opponent, but they're weakening them a little bit, giving them problems. Just make my life easier. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you need
that's what I say China is doing with Islam right now. They're just allowing Islam to come in shortly because they don't give a fuck. China will just walk over Islam. Like,
wouldn't that be nuts if like countries just started overthrowing the state like everywhere?
It's happening now, right? Like,
it's just like it really started. Like, wow, that country's just went down. Oh, another one. Oh shit! Like, it would turn into a global crisis.
Shots have already been fired in France. Like, people are losing their eyes. It's happening in Hong Kong.
Fucking people using bows and arrows and shit in Hong Kong. And that's the thing. Everybody. What's crazy about the internet is it's going to spread that idea because everybody's watching this shit. Everybody that's minded that way sees those events and goes, "Wow," you know what I mean? Because it's like, I want to see Sweden overthrow those fuckers. I would love
Yeah.
that. Like by proxy, that would make me happy for them that they freed themselves. So I'm interested. And then I see another one and another one and another one. And then some of my friends are seeing it. It's like, why are
And then we go through an election and we're not ready yet. We're fucking 4 years behind. We got a rough 4 years.
Hong Kong, like I have nothing in common with Hong Kong, but the sentiment of like I live in a place where the government just walks all over me and does whatever the fuck they want.
I don't want your tyranny here.
They're ruining. Yeah, just fuck off. It's enough. It's enough. Like Alberta's like we're dying. We're getting strangled. We have no money. You took all our jobs away. How am I going to feed my fucking kids? Like how
It's
far?
the whole reason our economy was here in the first place. You're not just going to start building solar panel factories all of a sudden. No, if anything, you're going to bring in shit menial jobs at Home Depot and bringing in construction for new houses that you're building for migrants, and it's just a bubble that's a chemical disaster. Like, need to take control of our own destiny.
We need a right-wing version of Soros. Isn't that Brett Wilson, the Dragon's Den guy? That's the best we got so far. He's on board. Yeah. He's out there tweeting all kinds of Brexit stuff and fuck Ottawa and all this shit. I'm like, yeah, he's a billionaire. We got one guy. We got a couple more. Then we might be able to afford some stuff.
And what we got, Dennis O'Leary, small-time Canadian player. I mean, he's got money, but it's just.
Yeah. Is Dennis O'Leary on board with it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think Max did mention that if they separated, he would go.
That'd be crazy.
That's his fucking statement, though, isn't it? That's saying, like, well, fuck, it's time to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
fuck, man.
It is going down fast.
It's not good. It's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. I better take off.
Oh, yeah. Look at us. We're fucking.
It's a long one. That was a crazy one. That was the craziest one. That whole thing was fucking nuts.
That was a good trip. It was fun. I enjoyed that. I was stoned most of the time. I'll have to rewatch that. Like,
I don't even. It was just wild. What a crazy ride.
Well, Bucko.
Wow. That guy.
Clean your room, Buckos.
But yeah.
And make sure you tune in next time when something happens. I wanted to get this guy's opinion on, man. The Cenotaph was a big deal. It took me a little while. It wasn't hot per se at the time, but like, I finally got him on.
Yeah, well, there he is.
That was him.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot to
bringing you what CBC refuses to do.
Go check out his channel.
Why wouldn't they interview him? You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck yeah, get that guy. Like, how many views is that going to be? A lot. That's a big story. And I
just wanted to see what he had to say myself. Like, just let him go. Let him go and find out what he ticks.
Well, wouldn't everybody? Wouldn't the whole country want to know? Why wouldn't CBC? Why isn't that front page interview with the fucking guy? That's the biggest news in the country right now. Why aren't you covering? That's your job. That's what everybody wants to know about. Why?
And instead, they fucking get a couple of words out of him for sound bites outside of the courthouse as he's coming out. Yeah. They try to paint him as crazy.
Like, he seemed like he would have talked to them.
He seemed willing.
He seemed like he wanted to say his piece. Do you know what I mean? Yep. I feel like he was explaining that he has mental problems in the first 20 minutes as a pretext for why he did what he did or whatever. But I was like, he's talking a lot about schizophrenia for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got schizophrenia. I'm going to guess because he knows a lot about it. I don't know. I'm just fucking saying. But then, prevalent. But I don't know. Wild
totally
day.
Plausible. And it also could be working on a legal defense as well.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
A good legal defense to have mental illness in your past, but then you also get tossed back into the system and have to go through the process.
Goalie eyes don't lie. What does that mean? I've never heard that one.
Goalie eyes don't lie?
Yeadon, yeah. Goalie eyes don't lie. Nice work, guys. It's above that. I don't know.
Yeah, I did hear that, AC, that Max is trying to talk Alberta out of separating.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a federalist. You don't get it twisted. Max is a federalist, just like Kenny is as well.
If he does want his party to win, his interest is in Canada.
I appreciate
not
them
part of Canada.
You got to allow the man to say his piece, but in the end, if he doesn't have the answers, then I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's out for his team, right? He's the leader of his ship. He wants it to do it his way, and that if he wanted to do, that's what he would have done. He doesn't want that, so
yeah, you have to.
He's looking out for his team because they're all.
You kind of want a friendly voice to play devil's advocate anyway, and say, look, what about this? And then it's kind of good to have him around because if he points shit out, that you're like, fuck, we need somebody to get on top of that. If you're being serious about it, So it's good to have him saying his piece regardless, right?
T Nova, I liked the alien interview.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
was what it was, man. He was an entertaining guy. Like,
Oh, fuck.
I was getting into that story. I was
Wild.
just gonna let him go.
I was just like,
Just let's hear it. Why interrupt?
those guys are always the best, man. You'd always get a few in the unit every once in a while that have the guy that's always got the big crazy fucking stories, and you're just like, oh yeah, we just egg them on and be like, wow, really? I was like, then how did you escape the police? And he had a, well, I did this. Really? When did James Bond drop off the Corvette? It was like, dude, come on now. This is getting to be, this is a little bit silly, but all right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because I heard of shit like that happening, similar kinds of things, but
I don't know.
Statement on it, it's quite
Like,
measurable. I don't know. It could be true. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of effort for not much. Why? It wasn't like the guy blew up a fucking church or something, killed fucking 50 people. That'd be like, well, maybe.
There's not much point in coming out. Like, I've had people contact me like that before that have talked about this stuff and try to reach out to people, and they just get silenced. So,
reach out about what?
How the government's been taking advantage of them, and
that's true though.
Into the
mentally ill, so was
like,
most game changers. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
He
is a political dissident.
Yeah. Well, George Washington probably didn't have all his marbles. You know what I mean? All the best people are not rational. Like they do crazy shit because that's what it takes to.
They're normally
you have to be a little
outlaws.
You have to be, like nobody remembers fucking Bill the accountant. You know what I mean? It's like, why do they remember this person? Then you hear the story and like, wow.
They have to make up names.
Whoa.
They have to make names up for these fucking people.
Yeah, I was like, that guy didn't give a fuck at all. Like a legendary level of not giving a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Alexander the Great, I was reading about the other day. He's like, the dude's like 20. He's like, I'm just going to take over the world now. Like, holy fuck, dude. 20 years old, and you're like, maybe, should I go get some chicks? He's like, no, I'm going to conquer the earth. And he does. You're like, wow, that guy. Like, do you think he was a sane person? There's no way. That's not a normal human being.
Well, he must have had the best army to do it. Like,
he's smart too.
And look at how the rest of the world adores Justin Trudeau. All the fucking third world countries. He's got billions of people fucking looking up to him because he's funding abortions in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, it's fuck. Well, yeah, it's like hard to like. Why wouldn't he? Why isn't he doing it? He's giving all our money away. Why would you do that unless you wanted us to go broke?
And our pension funds are paying. We're investing in housing in Mumbai.
India. That's gonna go well.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Why not invest in the oil sands?
Right? Because that would make sense.
Just fucking
exactly. That's what they should be doing. Invest in the own country. Like, are you telling me everything in the country is so well funded? We've got so much money. We just have to give some away. It's like we bought so much Halloween candy. We're just going to give the kids entire bags because there's so much. It's like, wait a minute. Don't we have a ton of problems? Aren't we like broke as fuck? Like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, we could use that money.
The greatest mistake that Justin Trudeau made during the debate was said, Jagmeet Singh, I heard that you're going to build a refinery up there. What?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, if you did, fucking A.
Yeah, and he was mum about that, wasn't he?
Like, holy fuck, what a fantastic idea. And then, oh my goodness, we could pay for our own gas and maybe invest the CPP fund into a refinery.
Yeah.
And then see how that turns out for everybody to retire.
I don't know. Fuck.
Anyways, we could keep going forever.
Yep.
I appreciate the guy coming on as well as yourself. I can't imagine that anybody watching right now hasn't subscribed to your YouTube channel already. So if you haven't, go ahead, please do. He's in the description for sure. I see AJ down there talking about he wants to... Yeah. Something about his Syrians.
His Syrian slaves.
Al Jazeera elicits. He's a subsidiary from Qatar.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well,
when you look at that beard, the hair, the nose. Anyways, AJ,
I think he's Mossad personally. That's what I say.
Mossad?
Yeah,
he does look. He's got a bit of an Israeli vibe to him.
Yeah, he does. He seems like I think it's the hair, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got kind of that like Quebec Trudeau hair under the hat.
My Israeli commando raiders going off.
A bit like Zohan.
Who are you really?
Well, at least we know he can take a joke. Anyways, guys, peace out. Peace in the Middle East. Rain in Spain. There's another $2 donation from the
Terry Fox.
insane Terry Fox.
This is for you,
Canadian
Harry
icon.
Fox,
Dun dun dun.
a
All right.
hero.
Bye, guys.
See you later. Is it?